Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Did you drink water?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much. How you feeling?
Feeling good.
You feeling okay? My name's Rob Thomas.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you? How are you? You doing okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably had better days than this, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am a little shaken, to be honest.
A little shaken?
It's not my usual day, obviously.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. Yeah. Alek. Do you mind if I call you Alek?
Yeah, sure.
What do your friends normally call you?
Alek.
Alek. Yeah. Alek, my name's Rob Thomas. I want you to call me Rob from here on in, okay?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Alek, I want you to understand something. I'm a senior detective with the Toronto Police. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
You know I'm a police officer.
Yes.
Okay. I don't wear a uniform. I wear a suit and tie because of the type of work that I do. But although I'm in a suit and tie, I'm an actual police officer, okay? And I'm one of the senior investigators on this case, okay? I got called in for this specific case because of what's happened and the involvement and everything else that's been going on, okay? Before we get started, I want you to know that we're being videotaped and audio taped, okay?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes. Everything I say and do is being captured.
Exactly, yeah, on audio and video, okay? Now, here's what I want to do, Alek. I want to talk to you, okay? We're going to spend a good deal of time together, okay?
Okay.
It's important that I talk to you, all right? I'm going to ask you questions, okay? I'm going to ask you questions about your background, your education, your relationships with your family and friends, work, travel. And I'm going to ask you questions about what happened today, okay? You don't have to answer those questions if you don't want, okay? You understand that?
Yes.
But if you do decide to answer my questions, okay, I just ask that you do two things for me, okay? First thing is I ask that you treat me with respect, okay? I promise to treat you with respect throughout the entire night, okay? All I ask is you do the same for me. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. And the other thing I ask, Alek, and I've been doing this a long time, okay? And I typically never have any problems with people or anything like that. I don't expect to have a problem with you today, but if you do decide to answer my questions, would you do me the favor and just speak from the heart, okay? And just be truthful. That's all I ask. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Is that okay? Okay. Now, my understanding is earlier today there was an incident and you ultimately got arrested by a police officer. Do you remember that?
I do remember getting arrested.
Okay. Do you remember it was a uniformed police officer who arrested you? So in other words, he was a police officer in a uniform?
Yes, I remember he had a uniform.
Yeah, okay. And I know there was a bit of an altercation. We'll get into that. But basically, I just want to kind of cover off a few points before we get started. My understanding is that that incident, the time that you got arrested, you were on or near the area of Yonge Street earlier today. Is that right? And a police officer told you that you were going to be placed under arrest. And he placed you under arrest. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Okay. Do you remember what he arrested you for?
I believe I may have been arrested for something similar to murder.
Okay. I believe it was originally you were arrested for attempted murder, and subsequent to that, the officer placed you in handcuffs. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then he placed you in the back of his car. Correct.
Correct.
And then you were transported, or you were delivered here in a police car to 32 Division.
Correct.
Do you remember that? And following that, you were taken into the building, and you spoke to, I believe it was a gentleman, and he's known as a staff sergeant. He would have had 3 stripes on his shoulder with a crown. He would have asked you questions about your medical history, whether or not you were suicidal, whether or not you understood why you were being placed under arrest?
I remember that.
Okay. When you were placed under arrest, did the officer read anything to you?
I remember being read the signs on the left-hand wall stating my rights.
Okay. So you would have been read either at the time you were arrested, or certainly when you got into the police station, you were provided your rights to counsel. Is that right? So it would have been something like this. You're going to be arrested for attempted murder. It's my duty to inform you that you have the right to retain and instruct counsel without delay. You have the right to telephone any lawyer you wish. You also have the right to...
Now I'm starting to come back. Yeah, I remember.
Okay, let me just finish here, because it's important you understand this. You have the right to telephone any lawyer you wish. You also have the right to free advice from a legal aid lawyer. If you're charged with an offense, you may apply to the Ontario Legal Aid Plan for assistance. 1-800-265-0451 is a toll-free number that will put you in contact with a legal aid duty counsel lawyer for free legal advice right now. Do you remember that?
Yeah, now I remember that.
Do you remember the officer reading you that?
To be honest, I encountered various police officers. I don't remember which one read me that.
Okay, all right. But nevertheless, you were read. We call that caution. You were read that caution.
Yes, actually, now that you mentioned the word caution, I do remember hearing the words primary caution and secondary caution.
Okay, great. Okay, that's interesting, because not a lot of people can remember those words. Okay, so that's what I read you is what we refer to as a primary caution. So you don't. Let me just get this straight. You're not sure if you remember the police officer reading you those rights, or if you were read that primary caution in the building. Is that right?
Actually, I'm pretty sure I was read the caution inside that room within the building,
okay,
with the camera and the desk.
Right. So we call that the booking hall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know what it is that I just read you? What was read to you when you were inside the booking hall? Do you know what that means?
I believe, to my best understanding, it means, as you said before, the rights that I have, my right to counsel.
Right. Do you know what counsel means?
A lawyer or attorney.
Perfect, exactly, yeah. So what that means is actually a couple things. It means that you can call a lawyer. One means at the time you were placed under arrest, you were being placed under arrest for attempted murder. What that primary caution means, that you can speak to a lawyer, okay, or we call it counsel. If you don't have a lawyer or counsel of choice, it means that you can call a free lawyer, and we call that duty counsel or legal aid. Okay, and the 1-800-265-0451 is a toll-free number that you can call to speak to duty counsel or legal aid for free legal advice. Do you understand? Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
So it basically means you can call a lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer, you can speak to a free lawyer, right? What it also means is that if you're charged with an offense, so if you're charged by the police for a crime, and you can't afford a lawyer, okay, you can apply to the government to pay for your lawyer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, and we call that legal aid. Okay. Now, my understanding is the officers then provided you a secondary caution.
Yes.
Okay. It would have been something like this. You're going to be charged with attempted murder. You're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, but whatever you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, it means that I'm not required to speak, but anything I say can and will be used against me.
Yeah, well, that's the sort of the American version of the Miranda rights in Canada.
Yeah, I watch too much TV.
You watch it? So do I. What you watch a lot of TV programs, like crime drama programs on TV?
It's one of the. I used to watch a lot of CSI.
Oh, you did. I love that show, but yeah. So in the States, they call that the Miranda. Anything you say can or will be used against you in a court of law. In Canada, we're a little bit different than the United States. I like to think we're a lot different, actually, than the United States. And what we have in Canada is a different type of caution. Anything that you say can be entered into evidence. And so anything that you say to me today, because we're being videotaped and audiotaped, a judge can watch that, okay? And he can listen to what it is you're saying, okay? All right.
Now, did the officers read you any other cautions?
I don't remember being read any other cautions, to be honest.
Okay. I want to read one more to you. And it goes like this. If you've spoken to any police officer or to anyone in authority, or if any such person has spoken to you in connection with this case, I want it clearly understood that I do not want it to influence you in making a statement.
Yes, actually, I do remember being read that.
You do, right? Okay. When do you remember being read that?
While I was in my cell by
Okay.
a non-uniformed officer. He was dressed formally,
Okay, was he dressed?
similar to you.
Oh, I see. In a suit and tie?
Yes,
Oh,
I
I see.
believe he may have been a detective.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that makes sense. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, it means that any statement, whenever I'm making a statement, it shouldn't be affected by something that one cop said to me. It should just be simply whatever I feel is the best as my defense.
You're absolutely right. You know what? You hit it right on the head. You know what? And I thank you for that. That's very important. Yeah. Basically, what it means is that if you've spoken to any police officer, and you may not have spoken to a lot of police officers, but I know a lot of police officers have spoken to you today. Everything from the uniformed officer who arrested you, right through to the booking officers who collected your information when you came into the station, right up to the officers who came down into the cells and advised you of further charges that were going to be laid. You've spoken to a lot of police officers today. Am I right?
Yes.
How many in total do you think you've spoken to?
I would say at least 5.
At least 5. Okay. What that means, that caution that I gave you, what that means is that if any of those officers or anybody else for that matter have said to you that you have to talk to me, okay, that's incorrect. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. You don't have to talk to me, okay? So if anybody has told you that you have to speak to me, I don't want you to listen to what they said, all right? I'm assuming nobody's threatened you or made you any kind of promise?
No.
Nobody's threatened you?
No.
No, nobody's made promises?
No.
For you? Okay. We call those inducements. So nobody's offered you any type of inducement, I hope, or anything like that?
Oh, no.
Okay. So basically what it means is that you don't have to listen to what the police have said to you previously, prior to you meeting me here today. And that if you do decide to talk to me, that it just be, like I said, from the heart and it be truthful. We call that being voluntary. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Now, in addition to that, I just want to clarify one more thing. Did you speak to the police and tell them what happened today?
Sorry, I'm just need a minute to think about that. Are you asking if I in any way confessed?
Well, I'm asking if you yes, if you confessed or if you made a statement at all to any other police officer.
I never made any significant statement about any events that occurred before I was arrested.
Great. Okay. So, if you did have any conversation with any police officer prior to being brought into this room, all right, and that includes making a statement or a confession, okay, I want you to ignore what you've said, okay, and I don't want you to refer back to that conversation, okay. And what I mean by referring back, I don't want you to tell me about any conversations you've had with any other police officers, okay. What I'd like to do is start fresh. We call this a clean slate.
Okay.
So from here on in, okay, I want this to be a fresh start.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Pretty straightforward. Okay. Now, when the officer arrested you, did he put handcuffs on you?
Yes.
Right. And my understanding is the handcuffs were behind your back.
Yes.
Okay. And he patted you down? Did he? What I mean by that? Did he search you?
I remember being searched. Actually, I remember later on, as other officers came in,
Mm-hmm.
I was stood up, brought to the cruiser, and then as I was leaning on the car, I remember at that point I was being searched.
Okay, all right. And so, as far as the search is concerned, to what extent were you searched? In other words, what did they search? What did the officers do?
It was pat down of the entire body to make sure there was no weapons or anything like that on me.
Okay. And how do you know that they were searching for weapons and things like that?
Because I remember they were searching my pockets, they were feeling my chest, my back, my legs. So that would be an indication that they felt I had weapons on me.
Okay. Did the officers say anything to you while they were doing this?
I don't remember exactly what they said.
Okay.
Other than just stand still.
Okay.
Along the lines of that.
Did anybody tell you that they were searching for weapons?
I do remember, although I don't remember the exact words, I do remember there was a mention of being searched for weapons. They may not have been speaking directly to me, but they may have been speaking to each other.
Okay. Did they take your clothes off?
No.
Did any part of your clothing come off?
No.
Okay. And so then from there you were placed in the car?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And how many police officers were in the car while you were being driven to the station?
Two.
Two. Okay. And I'm presuming they were both in the front?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have any conversation with the police officers?
No.
Okay. And then you arrived here at the station?
Yes.
Okay. And how long of a drive was that?
About 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes. Okay. And did it appear to be a direct route?
Yes.
In other words, they didn't stop for coffee or anything like that? Or?
No.
Okay. All right. And then you came into a garage?
Yes.
Okay. We call that the sally port. That's what we refer to that as. And you were, I understand you were taken out of the back seat of the car?
Yes.
And then you were led to a desk?
Yes.
And there was an officer, a senior officer, a higher ranking officer was behind that desk. You probably didn't know that, but we call that officer the officer in charge of the station. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And he would have asked you some questions?
Yes.
Okay. And my understanding is those questions dealt specifically with any medical issues.
Yes.
Right? And whether or not you understood why you were being placed under arrest?
Yes.
And whether or not you understood your rights to counsel or your right to call a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. And then from there, my understanding is you were taken to the cell area?
Yes.
Okay. And you were placed in a cell. And my understanding is that cell is a bathroom. It has a toilet.
Yes.
It has a toilet and a sink.
Yes.
And then following that, now there were a couple of other events that are important. One was, my understanding is that you were given an opportunity to speak to a lawyer.
Yes.
Okay. And you indicated to the officers that you didn't have a lawyer.
Correct.
And that you didn't know who to call.
Correct.
And so the officers offered you an opportunity to speak to duty counsel, which is that free legal service that I talked about.
Correct.
Okay. And my understanding is you spoke to duty counsel.
Correct.
Okay. And you did that in private, is that right?
Correct.
In other words, there wasn't anybody listening to your conversation?
Correct.
Okay. Now, I don't want you to tell me what the lawyer said, but did you understand what the lawyer was telling you?
Yes.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the information that he told you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, following that, my understanding is, and I might have gotten the sequence of events mixed up, so correct me if I'm wrong. There's been a lot going on today, and I've been very busy, but my understanding is at some point, if I'm not mistaken, a police officer in a suit came down, and he told you that he updated you with respect to the charges that were going to be laid.
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember what he said to you?
Yes. So originally the charges were 9 counts of first-degree murder.
Right.
Then later on it got updated to 10 counts of first-degree murder plus 15 counts of attempted murder.
Exactly. Yes, that's my understanding. So my understanding is, as the night progressed and as we were learning more information, it came to our attention that 7 people have died. Sorry, 9 people have died. I apologize. As a result of an incident that occurred on Yonge Street. And so subsequent to that, my understanding is the officers came down and they spoke to you to advise you that the charges would be upgraded to 9 counts of first-degree murder. Do you understand what first-degree murder is?
It's a premeditated murder and completely intentional and considered to be what's known as in cold blood.
Well, yeah, that's a fairly precise way of describing it. What we call it premeditated. It means premeditated. You understand what premeditated means?
Yes, it would mean that someone planned for that murder in advance.
Right, planning and deliberation. In other words, if somebody committed first-degree murder, they would have took the time out to think about what they were going to do, sit down and deliberate over the plan. So in other words, they were going to sit down and go over the details of the plan, figure out what it is they were going to do, and how they were going to execute the plan, and so on and so forth, to commit a murder. Planned and deliberate. That's what it means. So there's a lot of thought and energy that goes into planning to kill somebody. That's what first-degree murder is. Okay, and so initially it was 9 counts of first-degree murder. And do you remember the officer that told you that?
I believe if I remember correctly, it was the officer wearing the suit.
The officer wearing the suit who walked you in here today, or walked you into this room?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now, did he tell you that you could speak to a lawyer again?
Yes.
Okay, so he gave you your rights to counsel again?
Yes.
Okay, and in answer to that caution, that first caution, do you understand? Did you understand what you were being arrested for?
Yes.
Okay. Did you understand that the charges were now being upgraded to 9 counts of first-degree murder?
Yes.
And did you understand that you could call a lawyer again?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you say to the officer in response to calling a lawyer again?
I think I simply just acknowledged. I said, okay.
Okay. And my understanding is he asked you, do you want to speak to a lawyer again? Do you remember what you said to him?
I believe I said no thanks.
Okay.
The reason I gave that response was because since I had already spoken to a lawyer very recently, I felt that I wouldn't be given new information at that point.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that was my understanding. And then subsequent to that, now again, I might have the facts mixed up, just in terms of the chronology. But my understanding is, did somebody come down and take photos of you?
Yes.
Okay. Was that okay? Well, let's maybe touch on that.
It actually happened twice.
Okay.
And initially, the first time it happened was at the very beginning of when I got arrested.
Right.
I sat down in a chair. I had front, left, right.
Right.
Then later on in the evening, I again had I was standing up in front of that chair and had left, right, front, and back.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. So the first time you had your photo taken, front, left, and right, where was that done?
Inside the room with the camera and the fingerprint machine, about 10 steps away from the cell block I was in.
Okay, so they took you out of the cells?
Yes.
Into what we call the print room?
Yes.
Yeah, and so the booker we call him the booker, the individual that takes your photographs and takes your fingerprints. We call him the booker. Did they take your fingerprints at all?
Yes.
They did, eh? Okay.
It was at the same time that I initially had my picture taken.
Okay, all right, okay. And then from there you were returned to the cell?
Yes.
Okay. And then your photographs were taken once again, or you were photographed once again after that. So you were photographed a second time?
Yes.
Okay, and where did that take place?
In the same room.
In the same room. Okay. Was it by the same officer?
No.
It was by another officer?
Yes.
Okay. And this time you were standing, you said?
Yes.
Okay. The first time you were sitting?
Yes.
When you were photographed? The second time you were photographed, you were standing?
Yes.
Okay. And the officer who took the second set of photos, what was he wearing?
He was uniformed.
In a uniform. Okay. And was he the individual who took you out of the cell?
Yes.
Okay. And then my understanding is you returned to the cell?
Yes.
Okay. And then at some point, you also turned over your clothing?
Yes.
Okay. When did that happen?
That happened at the very beginning when I was brought to the police station.
Okay. All right. That happened at the very beginning. So, at what point was it?
That was initially before I was put into my cell. I was in some other holding room,
Right.
that just had some chair there. At that point, I had all my clothes taken off, just to be seized as evidence.
Okay.
And then I was given my underwear back. I put it back on, and then I was given an orange jumpsuit, and then 2 minutes later I was taken out of the orange jumpsuit, and then I was given this white bodysuit.
Okay, and that was before you went into the cell.
Correct.
Okay, and so let's talk about that for a minute. So when they took your clothes off, you were put in a room, you said?
Correct.
Okay, and did the officers explain to you why they were taking your clothes?
As evidence.
As evidence, okay. And
also just because of concerns that I might have something within the clothes.
okay, so we call that a level 3 search.
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, I remember that exact term being used.
A level 3
search. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do that in cases where we're dealing with individuals that we don't know, because we don't know you, who are involved in relatively serious events, which unfortunately you are. And so we do it for our safety, as well as your safety, as well as to ensure that we're collecting, all the evidence we possibly can, right? Because the idea at the end of the day is we want to come to the truth as to what's going on. That's the bottom line, right? So we have to do these things, and sometimes they're intrusive, but we try and do it in a manner that is as dignified as possible. So when you had your clothes taken off, were you completely naked?
I was only completely naked for about 10 seconds.
Okay, all right. And did you have some privacy in this room?
This room?
No, the room you had. They took your clothes off.
Actually, to be honest, I don't remember. I think there may have been some officers there.
Okay.
Because my face was towards the wall the entire time.
Okay, all right. How many officers were there?
I think about 4.
Oh, 4?
I don't remember the exact number, to be honest.
Okay. Were there any female officers?
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right. Was anything being videotaped?
I don't remember seeing a camera in that room.
Okay, all right, okay. But nevertheless, you were only completely naked for about 10 seconds.
Correct.
Okay, and then they gave you an orange jumpsuit?
Yes.
Okay. And then you were brought to the cells, you spoke to a lawyer, you photographed
Well,
twice.
actually, I was switched into this white bodysuit before being taken into my a cell, because I was only in that orange jumpsuit for about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay, okay. And the reason behind putting you into a white jumpsuit, did they tell you?
I believe if they did tell me, I don't remember the reason.
Okay, okay. The reason would have been to keep your feet protected, right? Because I don't think you had the boots on the orange jumpsuit.
Oh yeah, I remember they said something about there wasn't any footwear.
Right, okay. Okay, so from there, you went into the white jumpsuit, then you were placed in the cells, you spoke to your lawyer?
Yes.
And then you were photographed twice?
Correct.
Okay. In addition, the officer came down to advise you that you'd be charged with 9 counts of first-degree murder, right?
Yes.
Okay, and my understanding is, I believe it was the same officer, at some point in time, he then came down to advise you that you were going to now be charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder and 15 counts of attempted murder.
Correct.
Okay. And during the sequence of events, at what point did that officer come down and tell you that?
The upgraded charge was after I spoke to my lawyer.
Okay. How many times did you speak to a lawyer?
Once.
Okay. So it would have come after the first time you spoke to the lawyer. It would have come after the officers telling you you were being upgraded. The counts would be upgraded to 9 counts of murder. So it would have been some time after you spoke to your lawyer that they told you that you were now being charged with 10 counts of murder, first-degree murder, and 15 counts of attempt murder, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did the officers explain to you again your rights as far as calling a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you say to them in response to that?
I simply said okay.
Okay. Okay. And anything else?
No.
My understanding is the officers asked you, do you wish to call a lawyer?
Yes, they did. So the second time I said no thanks, and the reason, as I said before, the reason I gave that answer was just because I had very recently spoken to a lawyer, so I thought that I wouldn't be given any additional information at that point.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, well, here's what I'm telling you here today. It's important you understand what I'm saying, okay? You're going to be charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder, okay? As well as 15 counts of attempted murder. I've read you your rights to counsel, your caution, secondary caution, and so forth. Do you wish to speak to a lawyer? The choice is yours.
Yes, I will speak to a lawyer.
You want to speak to a lawyer?
Yes, please.
Okay. Did you have a lawyer, or did you want to speak to duty counsel?
I'd like to speak to duty counsel, please.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So can you just hold on? Can you sit tight for 1 second? I'm just going to exit the room here for 1 minute, okay? If you just sit tight, I'll be right back, and then I'll take you down, and we can do that. This is just an audio recorder here. I'm just going to take this with me, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to have any trouble with you, right?
No.
You promise me that?
Yes.
Okay. I appreciate that. Now I'm just going to take you down the hall. We'll just put you in a room.
Okay.
And then I'm going to make a phone call to you. Okay, Alex has been placed in the major crime unit number 1. I'm going to call duty counsel. Phone call has been made to duty counsel, and we're just waiting for a call back. Just give me a sec, I'll be right back. Sure. Okay. So, before we go any further, just tell me what happened from the time we left this room until the time we came back. What took place?
My lawyer told me not to answer.
Okay. I understand that, okay? And I'm glad you told me that. You know why? Because that tells me you understand what your rights are, okay? But you need to understand something, okay? We, the police, have a job to do, okay? And that job includes collecting evidence, speaking to people, trying to understand and uncover what's happened, what took place, and asking questions. And we're obligated to sit down and speak to people like yourself who are in this position and ask you questions, all right? Your lawyer's right, you don't have to answer any questions, okay? But you need to understand something, Alek, okay? I still have to ask you questions, okay? And I'm going to ask you questions, all right? And I'm going to talk, okay? And it's not, I'm not doing that to make you feel intimidated or to make you scared or to say things that you don't want to hear, okay? But the bottom line is we have a very difficult job to do, okay? And this is a very, very important matter that we're dealing with here today, all right? So I'm going to ask you questions. If you don't want to answer them, you can tell me you don't want to answer them. Or you don't have to say anything at all. I totally understand that. But as long as we can still maintain that respect that we talked about at the beginning, is that cool?
Yes.
Is that cool? You're not going to offend me, okay? You're not going to make me upset or insult me if you say, Rob, I don't want to answer that question, okay? If you're kicking over the table and screaming, well, that's going to cause a problem, okay? But I'm not going to be offended, okay? And I understand, okay? But you also need to understand that I have a job to do. And I have to ask questions, okay? If you don't want to tell me what we did from the time we left, the time we came back, is it fair to say that while we were out, you spoke to a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to suggest that the only person you had any contact with was with me. Is that right?
What do you mean?
Well, you didn't speak to any other police officers.
Correct.
Right. So I'm the only police officer that was in your custody from the time we left this room until the time we came back. I took you down the hall to a room, placed you into a small room with a seat. I made a phone call, or I had an officer make a phone call to duty counsel. We originally placed one call. We had to wait. We couldn't hear. We didn't hear back, so we placed a second call. We still didn't hear back. I came in and I actually opened the door and I informed you that we were still waiting to call. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. I think I asked you if you wanted to borrow the washroom as well. Do you remember that?
I remember.
Yeah, and you said, what did you say?
I don't recall.
You said you didn't need to borrow the washroom.
Oh, now I remember that.
Okay, all right. And then finally we got duty counsel on the line. We put the counsel, the lawyer, we handed the phone over to you. My understanding is his name was Mr. Rodriguez. Did he tell you what his name was?
I don't recall his name.
Okay, he identified himself as Mr. Rodriguez to me. I don't want you to tell me the conversation you had. It's what we call private. But I want to ask you, did you understand the conversation that you had with Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Did you understand what he said to you?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the information that he's provided you?
Yes.
Okay, great. And then from there, you had a lengthy conversation. I only know that because from the time I handed you the phone until the time you knocked on the door, it was quite some time. I'm guessing it was over 10 minutes?
Yes.
At least over 10 minutes, yeah. And then I came to the door and I asked you if things were okay. You knocked on the door, so I opened it. You told me that you'd finished your conversation with a lawyer. I asked you if, how you feeling, if things were okay. You said yes. I asked if you wanted to borrow the washroom again. You remember that?
Yes.
And you said no. And then we walked back right in here. Is that right?
Yes.
And did anybody else talk to you?
No.
Did you talk to anybody else?
No.
Is there anything I'm missing?
No.
That's pretty straightforward, eh? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so my understanding is that's essentially what took place from the time you were arrested right up until the time you were brought into this room. We've covered off basically everything, haven't we?
Yes.
Okay. Did I miss anything?
No.
Anything of importance? If I'm not mistaken, the officers fed you, is that right?
Yes.
Downstairs in the cells?
Yes.
What did they feed you?
Sandwich and juice.
A sandwich and a juice, okay. When was that?
I didn't have access to the time at the time I was fed.
Okay. Are you hungry?
No.
Okay. Did you have anything else to eat today?
I ate before I was arrested.
Okay. And what time was that?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you remember what you ate?
I don't recall.
Okay. All right. If you're hungry at all, at any point in time, you just let me know. Okay. If you need to borrow the washroom, you just let me know. Okay. I'm going to leave that up to you to tell me. Okay, because I'm not going to know if you're hungry or not. I'm not going to know if you need to go to the washroom. So I'm going to rely on you to tell me that. Is that cool?
Yes.
All right. How much sleep did you have last night?
About 8 hours.
About 8 hours. And how did you sleep?
I slept well.
You slept well. And where did you sleep? Was it your home?
I do not wish to answer that.
Okay, all right. Nevertheless, you slept well. Okay. I want to ask you something, Alek, and this is important. Are you on any kind of medication right now?
No.
Okay, so do you take any, what I mean by medication, do you take anything prescribed for any physical injuries or ailments of any type?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. What about medication for psychological issues?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. Has a doctor, have you seen a doctor recently with respect to any medical issues that I should be concerned about?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. What about psychological issues?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. Alek, can I ask you this? Because it's important. And I'm saying this because I think I know the answer. But am I wrong to understand that in high school you were identified as someone with special needs?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. But you did go to Thornley Secondary, didn't you?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. And you graduated from Thornley, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then following that, my understanding is you went to Seneca.
Correct.
And you were, you're just finishing up, if I'm not mistaken. You're just finishing up your course.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the Center for Development of Open Technology, CDOT.
No, it's Seneca at York.
Yeah, I realize that, but your program, the program you're taking, isn't it called Center for
No, that was actually something else.
Oh, okay, all right. What are you taking at Seneca?
Bachelor of Software Development program.
Oh, so you're taking a degree?
Yes.
So Seneca offers a degree in software programming?
Yes.
And that's something that you were aspiring to do? I understand you wanted to become a software developer or designer, or software developer,
yes.
Right? Yeah. And a team leader, is that not right?
Yes.
Is that that's what you were aspiring to do?
Yes.
Okay. And as far as work, my understanding is you're not working right now.
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. All right. Is it fair to say that you had some employment lined up with a company called Sheridan Computers?
I don't wish to answer that.
Oh, okay. All right. I do know that you live at home, though, and I do know that you have a mom and a dad, right? I believe your dad, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not pronouncing it right, but his name is Vahi?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. And your mom's Sona, and you got an older brother named Haig, and I think he's probably 28, if I'm not mistaken. Haig?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. All right. How are things at home?
Good.
With you and your family?
Yes.
Are you close to your mom and dad?
Yes.
Yeah. And what about your relationship with your brother?
It's good.
Good. I understand you were born in Canada.
Yes.
Yeah, and your parents immigrated to Canada some time ago, and they're originally from Iraq. Is that right?
I do not wish to confirm or deny that.
Okay, all right, okay. I just say that because I've spoken to your dad, and he's worried about you. I'll tell you that, okay? And I ask you these questions, and I'm not trying to intimidate, I'm not trying to scare you, okay? The reason why I ask these questions is because it's important that I get to know you better, all right? We just met for the very first time, and you don't know me. Am I right?
Correct.
Right. And I've never met you before, but I do know a great deal about you, and it's important I get to know you better. And the reason why I say that is because this is an important issue that brings you here today. Okay, it's very serious, and I think I would be neglectful if I didn't at least try and understand who you are. That's all I'm trying to do. You understand?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel intimidated right now? Are you scared or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Will you let me know if that ever happens?
I will let you know.
Okay. All right. If there's anything I say that is offensive, or that you find offensive, or if there's anything I say that you don't like, will you let me know?
Yes.
Okay. The reason why I said it, because I don't want to offend you. That's not why I'm here. Okay. I do know this. My understanding is you were in a special needs class in high school. Okay. It was a small classroom, specifically designed for people with special needs. My understanding is that there were a number of students in that class who excelled very well in certain areas, and didn't do very well, or were they performed poorly in other areas. So there were, there was a mixture of individuals in the class, and the idea behind being placed in the special needs class was to focus on the areas where they didn't perform as well. In my conversation with you, in my experience with people with special needs, because I've been doing this a long time, and I have actually family members who have special needs because of a variety of different reasons. I can recognize people who have special needs, and so the reason why I'm saying that is because I want to make sure you understand what I'm saying. Okay. I don't want to be saying something that is going to confuse you or make you feel uncomfortable, or make you feel scared. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, my understanding is your dad's not working. He used to work for Rogers, but he's out of work right now. But he's looking for work. Is that right?
I do not wish to confirm or deny that.
Okay. Your mom works for CompuGen. That's a computer company. Is that...
I do not wish to answer that.
Okay. All right. Are you in any kind of relationship right now with an intimate partner? Or, do you have a girlfriend or a?
I do not wish to answer that.
No. Okay. All right. What about friends? Do you have a group of friends that you typically hang around with?
I do not wish to answer that.
You don't wish to answer that. If I was to say Jeffrey Wan, would you know who I'm talking about?
I don't recall that name.
Jeffrey Wan, W-A-N?
I don't recall.
You don't? Okay. What about Brendan Levine?
I don't recall.
Okay. All right. Do you know a fellow by the name of Michael White?
I do not wish to answer that.
Okay. All right. Okay. What about Michael Transer? Sorry. Yeah, Tanzer, Michael Tanzer. Do you know Michael Tanzer?
I don't wish to answer that.
You know? Okay. Do you have a Facebook account?
Yes.
You do, right? Yeah. Is it? Am I correct to suggest that the name of your account profile is your name?
What I will say that it is correct to assume that most people have a Facebook account with the same name as their real name.
Right. And do you have any other online social media accounts?
That is my only online social media account.
Okay, so you know what I mean by social media? I'm talking about like
Facebook, Twitter, etc.
Yeah, Instagram, Snapchat. What are some of the other ones? I'm trying to think. I'm old. I'm 51 years old, so I can't. You young guys have.
Yeah, we know all of that.
The different technological ways of communicating. What are the other ones? Facebook, Instagram. I'm just thinking of what my kids use.
Twitter,
yeah, okay, I knew that one. Snapchat. FaceTime. Do you need an account for that?
I've actually never used that before.
FaceTime? It's like, FaceTime is like Skype though, isn't it?
I think it's easier, a more convenient way of using Skype.
Right,
basically.
because you communicate over Facebook, but it's a video form of communication, correct?
I actually didn't know that.
Oh,
Because I've just heard of the name.
Oh, okay. Because I've actually used it, but this is going to sound strange. I've used it, but I don't know how I've used it. People have actually called me on FaceTime, and I've been on my I have a little iPad, and then all of a sudden I'm talking to somebody, and I can see them, and they can see me. So one day you're going to get old, and you're going to realize what I'm going through right now, because it's hard. It's hard as a 51-year-old guy to try and keep up with the technology, and by the time you get up to my age, technology is going to be out of control. But you're a bit of a computer guy. You like computers, eh? You're into software programming, all that kind of stuff. Have you got a particular area of expertise? Like, do you write code, or what do you do?
I don't wish to answer that.
You don't wish to tell me what you like to do and what you don't like to do as far as?
No, I don't wish to answer that.
Okay, well, going back to the social media accounts, my understanding is you have a LinkedIn account.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But you're not active on LinkedIn. Do you know what I mean by that?
I don't sign in daily.
Right. And the information you have on LinkedIn's fairly limited.
Yes.
Yeah. And my understanding is your Facebook account is your activity on Facebook is kind of sporadic. Sometimes you're on, and then you go off, and then you go back on, and you close down your account, and then you open it back up. Why is that?
I don't wish to answer that.
Am I right to assume that you've closed your Facebook account down in the past?
I may have done it once.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. When did you close it down?
Did you say when or why?
No, when?
I don't remember. It was quite a while ago.
Oh, okay. And how long was it closed down for?
I would say at least a year.
Oh, okay. And then, am I right to assume that you just recently opened it back up again?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And when did you open it back up?
I think about a month or two ago.
About a month or two ago. Okay. And how many friends do you have on Facebook?
I don't remember the exact count.
Okay. Are you active on Facebook?
My rate of a sign-in is inconsistent. Sometimes I might sign in for a couple of days, but then might not sign in again for another week or so.
Oh, okay. Is there a reason for that?
I just don't have a specific pattern when deciding to use Facebook.
You don't. I'm just thinking in terms of a routine. Like when I actually use Facebook a lot. I'm surprised, being as old as I am. But one of the reasons why I use Facebook is because it keeps me. I don't post a lot of stuff on Facebook because I'm not that time. I'm kind of shy that way. I don't like to tell people what I'm doing. But I like looking at what other people are doing. And I don't have a lot of friends, but I have a few, and I kind of keep up to date with what they're doing, and I watch and I look, and so as a routine, I will I don't want to say daily, maybe daily. I go onto my Facebook and I check, but I don't post a great deal of information because for some reason, I don't know, in my mind, I just don't like to reveal what I'm doing. When you say you're on Facebook, what do you mean by that?
I simply mean that I'm occasionally signing in to use it minimally.
Okay. So when you say using, is that, are you posting stuff on your web?
It could be
profile?
posting, or it could be private messaging another individual on Facebook.
Oh, I see. Okay. And what kind of stuff do you typically post on your Facebook?
There's no specific pattern as to the type of content I post.
No? It's just random stuff depending on whatever you're thinking of the day, or?
You could think of it like that.
Mm-hmm. And messaging, or what kind of conversations are you typically having on Messenger?
I don't wish to answer that.
Oh, okay. All right. Am I to understand that you've had some military experience in the past?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Was it in Canada? I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yeah. And my dad was in the military. My dad was actually in the Navy. He joined when he was 17 years old. And in fact, he wasn't 18, so he actually had to have his parents sign off to give him permission to join the Navy. But so in the military, we have the Air Force, the Navy, and the Army. Which one were you part of?
Army.
In the Army, okay. All right. And where did you join? Here in Toronto?
Yes.
Oh, really? And what made you decide to do that?
I wanted to try something new. I wanted to see what it was like to join infantry.
Really? Really? Have you thought about pursuing the military as a career?
I had thought of it at the time that I had joined.
Right. Okay. And were you thinking about doing like enlisting, or were you thinking about being an officer and going through the officer cadet program, or what?
I had enlisted.
You enlisted. Oh, I see. So it was in the Army. And what particular, like, what particular? I know there's a number of different. Is it professions or a number of different
trades?
Trades, yes. What particular?
I
trade
was
were you?
infantry.
Oh, infantry. So you'd be, if called to task, you'd be the fellow on the front line.
Yes.
Charge into the enemy and.
Yes.
Just getting your hands dirty at the
Yeah.
pointy end of the stick. Okay, is that is it?
Yeah, as per the trade description.
Oh, okay, right on. What? So specifically, so within the infantry, did you have a particular skill that you wanted to develop, or was it just?
I was interested in learning how to use weapons.
Beautiful. Okay.
Specifically, large guns.
So large guns is in what? Like.
Such as assault rifles.
Oh, okay. So you're not talking about howitzers and cannons, right? You're talking about like.
Yeah, because those you can actually hold in your hand.
Right. So what type of weapons would the military, the Canadian military, be training their members in? Because you know what, I play a lot of Call of Duty, right? Have you ever played Call of Duty?
Unfortunately, that game isn't realistic. However, I never made it far enough in my basic training to use guns, so I don't know what type of guns the military uses.
Oh, okay. What makes you think? I thought Call of Duty was. Well, I know that the scenarios aren't realistic, but like the weapons they use are realistic, aren't they? And the camo and the uniforms and stuff like that.
Unfortunately, the logistics of how the weapons are fired
right.
Are not realistic in real life. For example, there's a lot of recoil when firing an assault rifle.
Right. Yeah. No, I imagine, and you're not getting much recoil on your computer, whatever.
Definitely not.
The little handheld console you're using. Of course, it vibrates a little bit. But do you play Call of Duty?
I played it in the past.
Yeah, I enjoy that. I like that. And there's another one I really enjoy was Honor, Badge of Honor.
I've actually never played that, to be honest.
That was actually better. That's better than the Call of Duty. Better, Badge of Honor. I think Call of Duty is Microsoft, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. But this was another company. But
Call of Duty is made by Activision.
Activision. Okay, right. And now, so Badge of Honor is something else. It's another company. I don't know what it is, but do you find yourself do you play a lot of video games? A guy like you, 25 years old, imagine you're.
Yeah, I actually like playing video games, especially the violent ones.
The violent ones, yeah.
I just like to let out all my urges into the TV screen.
That's why they're there, right? What about what other ones do you play?
I played Halo a lot in the
Yeah,
past.
okay, all right. That's more of a sci-fi kind of futuristic stuff. It's not. I wouldn't say Halo's terribly violent. I mean, you're killing Martians and things like that.
At least you're not killing other humans.
Yeah. Do you play Grand Theft Auto?
I played it a couple of times on someone else's Xbox. I've never actually owned any copies of Grand Theft Auto.
Mm-hmm. So as far as being a gamer, how would you classify yourself? Are you like a
I would
big gamer?
classify myself as a hardcore gamer.
Hardcore gamer. So in terms of hours spent during the day playing video games, how many hours would you spend?
I would say an average of 5 hours per day.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. That seems reasonable. That's your age. I'd probably do the same
Even
thing.
given my course loads.
Okay, and so that's with school.
Yes.
So and you were full time.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're in a computer degree
Yes.
program, right? Which is, I imagine, intense.
Yes.
Like hard work.
Yes.
Right? Have you always been? I'm saying this because I've got a nephew of mine who's actually in BC right now at the University of Victoria, and he's in a computer engineering program. So I don't know if computer engineering is the same or not.
There's an overlap, but it's not the same thing as computer programming.
It's not, okay. But his course load is intense, and it's highly mathematical. A lot of math involved, a lot of equations, a lot of problem solving.
I never actually had to do that much math in
Really?
my program. It was mostly coding.
Coding. Oh, so you write a lot of code?
Yes.
Now, do you write what type of language do you write?
I've used C, C++,
C++.
Java.
And Java would be web-based? Java's really for writing
No,
code for websites?
Java is more generic.
Yeah, okay. But C++ is the more popular coding for computer programs.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And what made you decide to get interested in that?
Well, I was kind of a nerd in high school, and
So
I
was
took
I.
a course on computer programming. And I took one course that was programming in high school, and after that, I decided I really liked coding, and I wanted to sign up for a program in college.
Really? And then you just carried it through, and you got into Seneca, and
Yes.
things were good. Now, was it difficult getting into Seneca? Did you obviously had to
I
apply.
had to. The only difficult part was ensuring that I had high grades near the end of high school.
Right. So did you finish grade 12, or did you go on to grade 13? I'm trying to think.
I finished grade 12.
Okay, they didn't have grade 13 when you.
No, they already discontinued that long before I started high school.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because when I first, I'm from BC. I grew up out west in Victoria. I don't know if have you ever traveled the country?
I've never been to BC before.
Never been to BC. Have you been anywhere else in Canada?
I've been to Quebec.
You've been to Quebec to visit.
Yes.
Okay, but have you traveled anywhere else?
No.
Okay. Well, yeah, BC is in BC. This is back in 1984 when I graduated, and it's still to this day. They only have grade 12. But when I moved out here when I was 19, 20 years old, they had what they call it OAC. They could hold which was a grade 13, which was like a university prep year. So if you were going to go on to university or college, you'd take grade 13. But then they discontinued that. But I can't remember exactly when they did that. So I assume that maybe perhaps you were still part of that. So you get into Seneca, and it's how many? Is it a 2-year program?
4-year program.
4. So were you in your 4th year?
This semester was supposed to be my final semester.
Final semester.
Yes.
And you'd be graduating with a Bachelor of Science?
Bachelor of Software Development.
Bachelor of Software Development. Did you have tests or anything to complete, or?
I already completed everything.
So you basically you finished.
Yes.
So when was your last day?
My last day of classes was last Wednesday.
Last Wednesday. And so when would you be told that you had graduated? Like, when would your graduation date be?
I would have found out my final grades this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yes.
Okay. So were you required to do anything between now and Saturday?
No.
So So that's it. You're finished.
Yes.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good for you. And that's quite an achievement. Yeah, you got a Bachelor of Science. That's a heck of a lot more than what I got. I'll tell you that. I went to university and I only took I got a diploma in business administration. Then I did 2 years in taking finance, but I never completed it. I never finished my university. I wish I had, but it was a lot of work. I couldn't do it. It was too much. Well, that's good. Wow, that's quite an achievement. Have you but you hadn't lined anything up as far as a job? Like work wasn't.
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. All right. Okay. I understand. My understanding is you're living at home. You don't live on your own. Am I right?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. But you have a good relationship with your mom and dad.
Yes.
Yeah. And has your relationship always been good with your mom and dad?
Yes.
Okay. And have they been supportive and loving throughout your life?
Yes.
And were there any difficulties in your life growing up with your mom and dad?
No.
No. What about with school? Were there difficulties with school growing up?
No.
No. And so when I talk about that, I'm talking about like the school curriculum. Going to school, learning, and completing your assignments and things like that. Were there any issues?
No.
Okay. What about the students?
No, I never had any issues.
Never had any issue with any of the students or anything like that? No. And I say this because sometimes these things are important. How were you treated by the other students?
I was treated well.
You treated well. Okay. Did you have any difficulties with any particular group of students?
No.
No. What about difficulties with girls in particular?
No.
No difficulties with girls at all?
No.
No, not at all. How do you feel about girls in general?
I'm attracted to them.
Oh, you are? Okay. So you're heterosexual?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that? Okay, that's important. Have you ever had a relationship with a female?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay, all right. In terms of females, I mean females and women, because you're 25, you're a young man, right? We'll call them women. In terms of your feelings towards women in general, how would you describe that?
I would say that sometimes I am a bit upset that they choose to date obnoxious men instead of gentlemen.
Yeah. So I have a I got involved in this situation. I'll tell you about it later. But so my understanding is you have some problems with women who date obnoxious men. Right?
Yes.
And these guys, I'm thinking you're talking about the fellows who are loud, arrogant, generally outgoing and popular with girls.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. And you have a problem with the women that date these fellas?
Yes.
Why is it that you have a problem with the women?
Because I feel that it's illogical to be dating such men when they could be dating gentlemen instead. Right.
That makes sense. I mean, and I've seen that because I've grown up. And I'll tell you one of the issues that I had as a kid growing up, because I was, this is going to say, you might not believe me, but I wasn't a very big kid growing up. I was actually very, very small. And it took me a long time to grow. And so as a result, I was kind of ostracized. You know what I mean by ostracized? I was kind of
cast aside.
Yeah. And or I left out, like I wouldn't get picked for teams, or anything like that. I was always kind of the last guy. You ever see those television shows where all the kids are lined up and they're getting picked for the teams, and there's always one guy left out at the end.
Yeah.
That was me. I was that guy. And I was never very popular with girls in school. And that kind of actually went on through to early part of my adulthood until I started getting taller and maturing. right? But I understand exactly what you meant, because I was, as a kid growing up, I was, you know, I mean, I was like any other kid, any other young man, right? You would look at attractive girls, and I knew I was probably just as smart, if not smarter than some of the clowns they were dating. But because, for whatever reason, I didn't have what it took, they wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't date me. Because I think because I was short, they wouldn't date me, and they'd end up dating, you know, the tall jocks and the other, you know, the good-looking fellows. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Then you kind of resent these girls, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's kind of a superficial way of deciding, you know, who it is
because
you're going to
height is an unfair. You can't control your height.
Right. Exactly. Right. What other things can't you control?
You can't control your looks either.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Although you're not a bad-looking guy.
Thank you.
No, you are. You're a good-looking guy. You keep yourself well, and you're good. You're fit. You know, you're tall. Yeah. What other things can't you control?
I'm unaware. I'm not aware of anything else you can't control.
What about like physical disabilities? Right. Obviously, if you were blind, or you know.
Unfortunately, you can't control that.
Yeah, you can't control that. That's what I mean. So these are things you can't control, or you know, other disabilities. You know, if you're mentally handicapped, or if you you have an amputee, or you know, there's other things. And so does that, would you include that in those issues that you can't control?
Yes.
And so how long have you had this this feeling towards women who are attracted to, you know, this particular type of guy?
Ever since I started college.
Ever since you started college. Okay. Was it something that occurred as a result of a single incident? Like, was there one particular moment in your life where it sort of struck home this was a problem, or was it just a?
On Halloween of 2013, I was attending a house party,
Mm-hmm.
and I walked in and attempted to socialize with some girls. However, they all laughed at me and held the arms of the big guys instead.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of rude. And how did that make you feel?
I felt very angry
Yeah.
that they would, because I considered myself a supreme gentleman. I was angry that they would give their love and affection to obnoxious brutes.
Really. And so it was at that particular moment, and that was sort of the defining moment that made you think that, you know, this is wrong, and you know, these people are,
Yes.
are unfairly treating you in the way that they were.
Yes.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I appreciate you telling me that. That says a lot. And so from that point on, what did you start doing?
I started thinking that it's unfair that certain guys will not get any love and affection from girls.
Okay. And what do you mean by certain guys?
Such as me, that are very nice and act gentlemanly.
Right. Are there other guys? Did you find other guys are in the same?
I know of several other guys over the internet who feel the same way, but I know they are. I would consider them too cowardly to act on their anger.
Oh, okay. And so on the internet, what are you talking about in terms of?
Specifically, certain boards on 4chan.
Oh, okay, 4chan. I'm familiar with 4chan. So that's
such as R9K and Poll.
Okay, so describe 4chan to me. What is 4chan specifically?
It's an image board
Right.
where people can anonymously make any post they want.
Mm-hmm.
The three boards that I have frequented are B, which is the random board.
Okay. Yep.
POL, or poll,
Right.
stands for politically incorrect.
Okay.
And R9K, which is basically means R9000. It's in effect they're saying we're all robots. Anyone who messages on that board.
Okay, so those are the three boards that you go to
Yes.
Is it fair to say you chat?
Yes.
You chat, and so you chat with other similar-minded people,
Yes.
right? So 4chan is a website, and within 4chan there are these messaging boards,
Yes.
and they're individual boards specific to like-minded people.
Yes.
And how many boards would there be in total on 4chan?
There are about 50 different boards on 4chan, but most of them are actually unrelated to the to B or 9K or poll. Therefore, I don't bother going on them.
Right.
Because in fact, if I tried to talk about topics that I was talking about on those other boards, my post would get deleted.
Oh, okay, all right. So there's moderators
Yes.
who monitor the conversations, and they kind of police the conversations. And if you're not part of the group conversation, they kick you out.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So when did you first start going on to 4chan?
Since 2014.
Oh, okay, all right. And how did you learn about 4chan?
I was informed about it by a friend at college.
Oh, okay, all right. And was he on it as well? Or?
Yes.
Okay, what's his name?
I don't wish to answer.
Okay, I understand. But nevertheless, it's a friend who's on 4chan. Was he in the same chat rooms?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. And so would you have conversation with him in those chat rooms?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. And so how many other people would be in these 3 particular chat rooms you talked about?
It doesn't actually tell you how many are in there at once, because it doesn't. As a software, it's not actually a chat room. It's more like a message board where anyone can post at any time by simply going to the thread,
Okay.
but they don't have to stay there.
Oh, I see. So it's not live. It's not live chat.
No.
It's a thread. So when you say it's a thread, it's
essentially like a forum.
Right. So you make a statement, and then somebody will answer, or they will reply to your statement.
Correct.
And then you've got.
Or they might reply to the original poster, or what is known as OP.
Right. Okay. I see. Okay. And so the general content of these 3 forums. Am I using the right word? Forum or
Image board.
Image board. So what's the general the topic within these message boards?
Well, on B, or random, the general topic is random. It's literally any random topic.
Mm-hmm.
On R9K, they call us space robots.
Okay.
The topic is usually frustrations at an inability to lose one's virginity, specifically for young males.
Okay.
Poll, which is politically incorrect, is the general topic is basically political discussions with an alt-right bias.
Political discussions with an alt-right, so you're ultra-conservative, or you're
Yes.
like in the American definition you'd be ultra-Republican.
Yes.
Okay, so what would your political views be in the alt-right message board?
I actually don't have any political views. I only the only reason I talked with them was just because I enjoyed their style of conversation.
Okay, and what was the style of conversation?
It was very blunt and honest.
So what would it be? What would it typically focus around, or what would the typical conversations contain?
Red pill truths about why women choose to date obnoxious men.
Date the Chads.
Yeah.
The Chads of this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, the Stacey's going for the Chads.
Exactly. The Stacey's are the dizzy dumb girls dating the goofy jocks.
Yeah.
Right. So you call them Stacey's and Chads.
Yeah.
I've heard that term before. And so that's in the alt-right.
Yes.
That conversation takes place in the alt-right as well.
Yes.
Do other things take place in the alt-right forum or
red pill? Some alt-right members consider themselves to be red pilled.
What does that mean? Is that like a Matrix reference?
Actually, it is in fact, that term was actually in fact came up as a reference to Matrix.
Right.
Taking you can either take the red pill or you can take the blue pill.
Right.
And some alt-right members even consider themselves to be a black pill, which in essence means they're a MGTOW, men going their own way.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. All right, okay. You're right?
Yep.
Okay, so the conversations are surrounding, so in those 3 message boards, they're all basically this, or maybe I shouldn't say all 3, but in the 2 message boards, the alt-right and the
R9K.
they're...
And we call ourselves space robots there.
Space robots, but the conversations tend to be focused around fellows who have been unable to lose their virginity due to the Stacys of this world and the Chads.
Yes.
Right. And I've done a little bit of reading, and I know a little bit about involuntary
celibacy.
Celibacy, right? So being celibate, involuntarily
Yes.
celibate. What does that mean?
That means celibacy means someone who never has a sexual intercourse.
Right.
Involuntary celibacy means this wasn't your choice.
I
You
see.
essentially have been thrown into true forced loneliness, and you're unable to lose your virginity.
Right.
This is especially painful for young males.
Right. That makes sense. And are there not other websites that cater to this group of people as well? Forever Alone. Have you ever heard of them?
I have heard of the Forever Alone subreddit.
And subreddit. Have you've heard of those?
Yes.
Okay. And is it fair to say Forever Alone is a forum within subreddit?
It is a subreddit. That's the definition of subreddit is basically a section of Reddit.
Right. Yes, exactly. Right. So it would be like the 4chan.
Kind of, in a way.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Are you on Forever Alone?
Yes.
You're on that as well.
Yes.
Okay. And what other sites are you on?
I can't recall other sites off the bat at the moment.
What's your username in Forever Alone?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. Well, what about 4chan?
There is no username because you're always anonymous. You don't register on 4chan.
Well, and that's what makes 4chan popular.
Yeah, because it makes it very easy, and you can hide behind a computer screen.
Right. Okay. And so when you're on the internet, where are you typically when you're accessing these websites? Are you at home?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And have you got a computer at home? Obviously you do.
Yes.
Okay. Do you ever access them with any other type of device?
Yes, I have access to them from school before, from
Mm-hmm.
school computers.
And where's that, at Seneca?
Yes.
And what department?
Within the school library.
Oh.
That's common to all the students.
Oh, I see. Do you have one particular computer that you go to?
I've always gone to the computer at the northeast corner of the library, just because I'm a person of habit.
Right. Okay. And is there a number on that computer or anything like that?
No, but I'm always gravitated to the exact same spot.
Okay.
I'm able to. I just instinctually know this is exactly where I've always sat every time.
Right. What type of computer is that?
Windows 10.
No, I mean in terms of the hardware. What is the make of the hardware?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I know it's a workstation.
It's a workstation, so it's not a laptop.
Correct.
It's like a box and a flat screen.
Correct.
Okay. And it's at the northeast corner, you said? Northeast
Correct.
corner. So if I was to walk into the library, where would the doors be to the front entrance of the library?
They would be very close to the southeast entrance of the S building of Seneca at York.
Okay. And the S building contains the library?
Yes.
Okay, and the southeast entrance, and then you'd walk
Then
in.
you would, as soon as you enter, you would turn left, and then when you walk, then you'll see the entrance to the library on the left-hand side.
Oh, I see. Okay. Draw me a picture of what the library looks like. Have a seat there. Have a seat.
The library?
Yeah, or where the computer is.
That's essentially the
Getting
the main layout.
So I'm looking at this. That's north. The top of the page is north, east, west, and south.
Yes.
Okay. And where's the entrance? The northeast corner is the entrance.
Yes.
And this
this is around the corner where I where I prefer to sit when using their computers.
Okay. Put a circle or a square. How would you show me where the
I would put it here. It's not actually the very northeast corner because the actual northeast corner has a bunch of Macs. I'm using the most northeast Windows computer there.
Okay, just put computer beside that. Right. Okay. Do me a favor. Just sign the bottom there so I know that's yours. So you're kind of a fellow of habit. You've got a routine. You stick to it.
Yes.
Okay. And the computer at home, where's that located?
It's located in my room.
Oh, okay. All right. What type of computer is that?
A Mac.
Oh, so you own a Mac?
Well, I'm good with both Macs and Windows.
And Windows, yeah. But you prefer Windows, or?
Yeah.
Really? But you have a Mac.
I use it for development.
Oh, so there's a difference in terms of the versatility of the computers? Is that how it works? Or?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay. So for development, you like the Mac, but for surfing the web, you like the Windows?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right. And your Mac, is it a laptop?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What version is it?
I believe it's High Sierra, if I remember correctly.
It's a I've never heard of the High Sierra.
High Sierra. That's just the operating system name.
No, I'm saying, is it like a MacBook Air, or is it a MacBook?
MacBook Pro.
It's a MacBook Pro, so it's the thicker of the.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a.
It's about 3/4 of an inch or something.
Okay, well, what color is it?
Steel or gray color.
Yeah, so they come in the standard, eh? And whereabouts in your room is your laptop?
On my desk.
It's on your desk. You got a desk inside your room?
Yes.
Okay. How many bedrooms in your house?
I don't wish to answer that.
Oh, okay, all right. Do you have your own?
I just don't want to give up the privacy of anyone else living in the house.
I totally understand that. I totally understand. That makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate you telling me that. You know what? And like I said, if that's the issue, you please let me know. Can I ask you this? Do you have your own bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So when you're on 4chan, what specifically are you, and 4chan, when you're on your different websites, and Forever Alone, let me ask you this, sorry, I mean it sound confusing. Which are you more active on in terms of
4chan?
4chan, okay. When did you first, sorry, you mentioned this and I forgot, when did you first go on to 4chan?
2014.
2014, and specifically when in 2014?
May 23, 2014.
And how were you able to remember that?
Because I remember that was a very significant day.
Okay. What was that?
That was when Elliot Rodger decided to essentially commit an uprising, a beta uprising, if you will,
right,
against the Chads and the Stacys.
Okay. And that was in the United States?
Yes.
And so when you talk about...
Well, because incels don't believe in borders.
Right, okay.
So locations are irrelevant to us.
Right. But for geographical reference only, am I right to understand it occurred in California?
Yes.
Okay. And what type of uprising occurred? What happened?
It was a beta uprising.
A beta uprising. Okay.
Although he didn't call it a beta uprising at the time. Someone else who was inspired by him, by the name of Chris Harper, called it a beta uprising sometime in actually I believe it was October 1, 2015.
It was 2014.
No, someone else named Chris Harper Mercer in 2015 called it a beta uprising. I'm only retroactively assigning the label a beta uprising to the Elliot Rodgers moves.
I thought Chris Harper Mercer committed a beta uprising in Oregon in 2014, which later fueled Elliot Rodger to do something similar in California in 2016.
It was actually the other way around. Elliot Rodger in 2014, what
You're
his,
right. I'm sorry. Yes.
his what I'm retroactively calling Beta Uprising inspired Chris Harper Mercer to do the same thing in 2015.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That makes a lot of sense. So it was Elliot Rodger who was the father. Of
basically
this.
the founding forefather of the entire movement.
Right, right. So explain to me this movement. What's this movement about?
It's basically a movement of angry incels such as myself who are unable to get laid. Therefore, we want to overthrow the Chads, which would force the Stacys to be forced to reproduce with the incels.
Right, right. Okay. When you say incels,
involuntary celibate.
Celibate. So that's just a short form for fellas who
can't get laid.
Can't have sex. Right. Okay. And what happened in the Elliot Rodgers uprising? What did he do?
I know he used a gun as well as a vehicle to convert the life status of certain individuals to death status.
Right.
Only to carry the message that incels can't be oppressed.
Right, right. So it was an act of rebellion.
Yes.
And it was out of frustration and anger.
You could call it an incel rebellion.
Incel rebellion, exactly. Right. Yeah. Okay. And how many lives were converted from living to dead?
6.
6 in total. Okay. And he used a vehicle in that as well.
Yes.
As part of the process of converting these lives.
Yes.
And was anything else? Did he do anything else?
I know he used a knife
right.
for his first 3 murders.
For his first 3 murders. Okay. All right. And then what about Chris Harper Mercer? What did he do?
He used a gun for all of his murders.
For all of his murders. How many people did he murder?
I believe it was either 8 killed and 10 injured, or 10 killed and 8 injured.
10 killed and 8 injured. Okay.
It was one of those 2.
Okay. And were these fellas active on 4chan?
Yes.
They were. Have you ever communicated with these fellas?
I actually have, as a matter of fact.
Who did you communicate with?
Both of them, actually.
Really?
We used code names, actually.
Okay. What were they?
Elliot Rodger was named Valtharion.
Valtharion?
Yes.
How do you spell that?
Valtharion.
Okay. And what was Chris Harper Mercer's name?
Space Robot.
Space Robot. One word or 2?
One word.
One
Camel
word.
case.
Camel case.
That means the S and the R were both capitalized.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. And what was your code name?
Xbox Lightside.
Xbox Lightside.
All one word.
All one word. Camel cased?
No, only the first letter was capitalized.
The X.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so, what did you discuss with these guys?
We discussed our frustrations at society and being unable to get laid, and we were plotting a certain timed strikes on society in order to confuse and shake the foundations, just to put all the normies in a state of panic.
Okay, and who would be a normie?
Normie means normal people. That would be anyone who is considered to be normal by the unfair standards of society.
But not the Chads or Stacys. Chads
and Stacys are actually above normies, or at least they think they're above normies.
Of course, yeah. Okay, all right. So is it fair to say you've got Chads and Stacys up here, normies down here, and then you've got celebs who believe that they are being repressed? Incels, sorry.
Yes.
Incels who believe they're being suppressed or repressed,
yes.
and so as a result, to even the playing field.
Yes.
They convert the Stacys and Chads from living to dead, and to make
so that we come out on top.
Yeah, more than so. Is there so the targets? Who would the targets for this uprising be?
All of the alpha males.
All the alpha males. So the Chads.
Yes.
So those are the people that you want to kill.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And who else?
any of the Stacys who do not wish to give their love and affection to the incels.
So they're a target as well.
Yes.
To be killed.
Yes.
Okay. And what about the normies? Normies.
Yes, we don't necessarily wish to kill the normies, but we do wish to subjugate them in order to make them understand that that our type is the more superior one.
Right. So when you say subjugate, what do you mean by that?
Meaning either imprison them or put them in a lower position in society.
Okay.
So that they acknowledge the incels or the Pepe the Frog types as the more superior ones.
So you're saying things that I'm not familiar with.
Sorry.
What's a Pepe the
But
Frog?
he's a mascot on 4chan.
He's a mascot?
Yes.
Oh, mascot on 4chan.
Yes.
And
I was using a metaphor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's actually worshipped quite frequently.
Oh, okay. All right. So going back to the conversation with Chris and Elliot, you're talking to these fellas now. When are you having these conversations? When do these conversations start taking place?
Before, obviously before their massacres, because they're both dead now.
Right. Okay. And then once you learned of so it was Elliot who was first in 2014.
Yes.
So what did you and Elliot talk about? I find you very interesting. I do, and I find this fascinating. But I want to make sure I don't go too fast. Who did you have conversation with first? Let me ask you that.
Elliot.
So how did you learn of Elliot?
Because we private messaged each other on Reddit.
Yep.
After I saw one of his posts, and we just talked about each other, got to know each other, and we found each other very interesting. We both had the same frustrations at society,
right,
despite being separated by distance so far apart.
Right. Did you ever visit him?
No, but I wish I could have.
Yeah. Did he ever come and visit you?
No, but I wish he did.
Yeah. Did you ever communicate outside of 4chan? Did you ever communicate on anything else outside
Reddit
of 4chan?
was the first place we communicated.
Oh, okay. And was it Forever Alone?
Yes.
In that subgroup?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ever communicate on any other medium or platform?
Other than Reddit and 4chan, no.
So you didn't Skype or call on the phone or anything like that?
No.
Okay. So how long does this conversation with Elliot? So when specifically? You may have mentioned it. I wasn't listening. When specifically did you first contact or have contact with Elliot?
January of 2014.
2014. And when did you stop having communication with him?
As soon as he was deceased.
Okay. So his act, I know, took place in 2014, but I wasn't aware of the exact day. What day was it?
May 23, 2014.
May 23rd. Yeah, you said that. So when did you last speak to him?
May 20.
May 20th. And so what did he tell you?
He told me that he has to go. He is on a very important mission, and he might not make it back alive.
And so what did you say to him?
I kind of had an idea in my head of what he was planning, but I didn't want to think it was true at the time. So I replied and said, I wish you good luck with that.
Right on. Okay. And was there anybody else in this conversation?
It was a private conversation.
It was a private. Okay, so there's nobody else speaking?
No.
Okay. And you can have private conversations outside of 4chan?
Well, like I said, it was a Reddit private message.
Oh, sorry. Forever Alone?
Yeah, because anyone can just private message each other since you have a registered account.
Right. Okay. So you can go on the forum and the threads and leave messages, and then you can speak to people outside of the threads privately?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just because I haven't been on these websites, so it's but I've heard about them, so I'm just trying to get familiarized with how it works. So Was there, as far as you're aware, was there anyone else involved in Elliot Rogers' mission?
I believe that he told me that other members of 4chan were giving him encouraging support so that he would have the courage to start his rebellion.
Right, okay. And so you last speak to him on March 20th.
May 20th.
May 20th, 2014.
Yes.
He commits his acts on the 23rd of May.
Yes.
And when did you learn that what he had done?
I saw it on the news later that night.
Later on the 23rd?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you think?
I thought that I came to the understanding that this is the mission that he had to carry out.
Okay, all right. And anything else?
I felt kind of proud of him for his acts of bravery.
Okay, all right. And what about how you started to change your thinking? Was any of that going on?
I was starting to feel radicalized at that time.
You were, okay. And when you say radicalized, what do you mean by that?
Meaning I felt it was time to take action and not just sit on the sidelines and to just fester in my own sadness.
Right on. Okay. All right. And so, this is starting. This is a process. It's not something that just. I mean, the day that you realized that you were a celeb was the day that you were ridiculed by these girls at this party. But,
on Halloween of 2013.
Right. But then, as you got to know Elliot, and then understanding his mission and what he had done, you began to become radicalized in terms of your thought process.
Yes.
Okay. And so, what takes place next as part of this growing radicalization?
To be honest, the planning didn't occur until about a month ago. Most of it was actually just thinking and daydreaming.
Okay, all right. So the thinking and daydreaming, when did that start?
That started about a month after the rebellion in May of 2014.
Okay, so
I mean, so in June I started thinking about this stuff.
And then that continued right up till about a month ago?
Yes, which is when I booked the van with the rider in order to use as a tool for rebellion.
Okay, all right. So take me through that process. What was going through your mind, and what were you thinking when you were doing all of this? What was going on?
I was thinking that it was a time that I stood up to the Chads and Stacys.
Okay. And then, so what happened? So tell me what takes place.
So I booked the van.
Yeah.
And then I just simply wait until today.
Yep.
And then I go rent the van, and then I drive it, take it downtown to Toronto.
Okay.
And I just start using it as a weapon.
Okay, all right. And so when you say that, what do you mean by that?
Meaning the vehicle collided with several pedestrians, some of who are no longer alive as a result.
Right, okay. Okay, and so that's a lot of information. Take me back to a month ago. You said this is when this whole planning started?
Yes.
Okay, so about a month ago, where were you at that point?
I was at Seneca College, and I decided to phone Ryder and book either a truck or a van with them. And they had a 10-foot van available,
Mm-hmm.
so I figured that this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I can it's big enough to have an effect, but not too big that I can't maneuver with it. So the van was the perfect medium size to use as my weapon.
Right on, okay. So you're at Seneca?
Yes.
You said? And where specifically at Seneca are you?
I was at the college library when I made the phone call.
At the college library when you made the phone call?
Yes.
So the library that you just drew for me?
Yes.
Okay, and where were you specifically in the library?
These desks.
Okay, why don't you just...
It was actually my face was facing north.
So show me So show me where you were.
I was sitting here, facing this way.
Okay, so you just put Ryder phone call. Okay. So you're sitting there, and this is about a month ago. What day specifically is this?
It was near the beginning of April, so it wasn't exactly a month ago, but almost a month ago.
Okay, all right. So you're at your desk, and what time of day is it?
Midday.
Midday, and you said you made a phone call?
Yes.
And how do you make that phone call?
By Googling the rental number for the nearest Ryder location.
Okay, and how do you Google the?
I just simply said Ryder rental locations on my laptop.
On your laptop. Okay, so when you say on your laptop, were you using a school computer?
No, actually, I was using a Windows computer. Because I know I said before I have a Mac, but I also have a Windows which I take to school just because I don't want the Mac to get damaged.
Oh, okay, so you've got two laptops.
Yes.
Oh, okay. What's your other laptop?
The Windows.
Yeah.
Mac and Windows.
Yeah. No, I guess is it? I mean, what's the name of the actual laptop? The make?
It's a Lenovo.
Lenovo. Oh, I see. Okay. And what color is that?
Black.
Black. And where is that in your bedroom?
It's located in my closet.
Oh, okay. All right. Where you're hanging your clothes?
Yes, above them.
Above? It's on the top shelf?
Yes.
Oh, okay. How many closets in your bedroom?
Just one.
Just one. Okay. So you take the Lenovo laptop to your school.
Yes.
At Seneca, and in the library at the desk, you Google the nearest Ryder.
Yes.
Truck rental.
Yes.
Okay. And what made you decide to choose Ryder?
Because I had looked up some reviews online. They people were saying good stuff about them. Because I had looked at some other companies such as U-Haul, and people were complaining about them, saying that the trucks never arrive on time. The customer support is terrible, but people loved Ryder.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, that makes sense. So this was just reviews that you'd read online that made you choose Ryder?
Yes.
Okay, can I ask why were you looking specifically for a truck?
Because it would be large enough to inflict severe damage.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so how do you contact Ryder?
By phoning them, basically.
And what phone do you use?
My cell phone.
Oh, okay, so you got a cell phone with you?
Yes.
All right, what type of phone is that?
Android.
An Android phone, okay. And that's an actual make?
It's either your phone's either going to be Android or iOS. My phone is Android.
What's the make of the phone, though?
Asus Zenfone 4.
Okay, and where's that phone?
What do you mean by where?
Where is your cell phone right now?
It was confiscated.
Oh, so we have it?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the phone number to your cell?
416-836-9711.
Okay, and so you call Ryder, and from Seneca, and what Ryder truck rental? What's the address?
700 Cornerstone Road.
Oh, okay. And so what do you say to them? What's the conversation?
I just said, hey, how are you doing? I was interested in renting a truck. I told him that I wanted to just help a friend move furniture around.
Okay, all right. Do you remember the individual you spoke to?
I believe it was either Matt or Mike.
A Matt or a Mike, okay. And what did Matt or Mike say?
That, yeah, we do have some trucks available, and that we can rent them out to you, and that he asked me when I wished to rent it, and I said April 23, and lo and behold, it was available today.
Okay. Can I ask why you chose April 23rd?
I felt it would be more symbolic if I had completed my exams.
Okay, but apart from the 23rd, there was no other reason?
No.
So if you finished your exams on the 15th, it would have been the 15th?
It would have been the 16th.
Oh, the 16th, okay. All right. So how long is your conversation with the fellow from Ryder? About
2 minutes.
Okay.
Because it was fairly quick.
Okay, all right. And then what happens? So you made this phone call. Sorry, let me ask you this. Did you reserve the truck?
Yes.
Oh, you did? Okay. And what did you tell him in terms of reserving? How was that going to take place?
I said that we agreed that I could just simply pick it up.
Okay. Did you have to give a deposit or anything like that?
Yes, I had to give. It was about a $400 deposit when I arrived at the location.
Okay, but that's not till later.
Correct.
Okay, so you just reserved the truck. There was no requirement for you to give any type of credit card or form of payment?
Correct.
Okay. So you reserved the truck, then what happens?
Then I simply record the reservation, and then I go on that day to pick it up.
So nothing happens for approximately 1 month?
Correct.
So you're not thinking about this, or?
I am thinking about it, but I didn't
okay.
need to make any further preparations.
Okay, so what are you thinking about while you're waiting to make these preparations, or waiting to rent the truck?
The uprising. I was thinking that I would inspire future masses to join me in my uprising as well.
Okay, all right. And how are you going to do that?
I was going to tell people on 4chan beforehand.
Okay, all right. And did you do that?
Yes, I did. I did a 1 day in advance.
Oh, okay, all right. So, did you actually go onto 4chan?
Yes.
And post messages?
Yes.
Okay, and what name did you, or they're anonymous, you said that?
Yeah,
is that right?
That's the default. If you don't specify a name, it's going to say anonymous.
Okay, did you specify a name?
No, it was anonymous.
Okay, so it was anonymous. Okay.
Yes.
And what time did you go onto 4chan?
Approximately at 3 p.m. yesterday.
3 p.m. yesterday, okay. And what specifically did you say?
I was using a code language to avoid detection by the authorities. I stated that there will be a beta uprising tomorrow. I encourage others to follow suit.
Okay, okay. And did you post on any other mediums?
Media.
Media. Any other media?
No, just 4chan.
Just 4chan. Okay. Did anybody reply?
Yes, quite a few people were congratulating me because I suspect they probably knew what I meant by what I said.
Okay.
And in fact, I remember there was one poster who said he was from Edmonton and he would be planning a similar uprising in November 15 of this year.
Of this year, okay. Okay, and what specifically did he say in terms of what he was
He
going to
said, hey, thanks, man. You've given me great inspiration.
Okay.
November 15, Edmonton, the continuation of the rebellion.
Okay, okay.
Those are his words.
Okay, I understand, okay. And so that was the one thing you did to, as you were thinking about this and planning. What else were you doing?
While I was finishing up my schoolwork as normal.
Yeah, okay, all right.
As I still have to worry about my schoolwork.
Right, of course. Anything else?
No, nothing out of the ordinary.
So, in terms of your, in terms of the time that you spent thinking about this over that month, if you were to break it down into a percentage.
I would say 80% of the time was spent thinking about it, even while I was doing other activities.
You were thinking about.
I was very preoccupied with it.
Very preoccupied with it. Okay. And in this thinking, what were you thinking specifically?
About how the foundations of the world would be shooken by this event.
Okay. And when you say that, what do you mean by the foundations of this world?
Meaning that I was fairly confident that others would be inspired to repeat the same actions as me, in basically just to overthrow society.
Okay. Okay. And so this, sorry, is there any other thought process going on?
That was pretty much the main thought process.
Okay. And okay. So then it comes to today or yesterday, the 23rd, right?
Because I guess midnight's already passed.
Yeah, exactly. So it was yesterday. So walk me through your day. You get up in the morning. What time do you get up?
At about 7.
About 7 o'clock? Okay, and then what do you do?
I have breakfast, I brush,
Mm-hmm.
nothing unusual.
Right. And then what happens?
I check my emails, just to see if there's any school-related stuff or anything that, such as job offers, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go for a walk around the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to the rider location
Mm-hmm.
yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and just took the van
Mm-hmm.
and brought it out to Toronto, and then I committed this rebellious act.
Okay, all right. So you get up around 7?
Yes.
Okay. You said you have some breakfast?
Yes.
You brushed?
Yes.
Okay. You go on your computer?
Yes.
What computer were you on?
Mac.
The Mac. And you said you checked some emails?
Yes.
Did you get any emails that related to this?
No.
Did you send any out in relation to this?
No.
Okay. So you're on your computer. How long are you on your computer for?
I'm on there for several hours a day.
Okay.
Just because mainly, since I'm a software developer anyways, I would have to use my computer anyways.
Right, okay. And then from there, you go for a walk?
Yes.
Okay. Now, where do you go for a walk?
Around the neighborhood.
You just walked around on foot?
Yes.
Okay. When do you leave the house?
Usually at about 8 a.m. after I've already finished breakfast and have brushed and everything.
Okay. And so you leave the house at around 8 a.m. and you just walk around the neighborhood?
Yes.
And what are you thinking about as you're walking around the neighborhood?
I'm just thinking about life.
Okay. Is your focus on your mission at all or anything like that?
Sometimes, but although to be honest, I'm not thinking about it 100% of the time.
Okay.
Sometimes I just try to, when I walk, I just try to clear my thoughts.
Okay, all right. Were you conscious this morning, though, that today was the day that this was going to
Yes,
happen?
I was very aware of it.
Very aware.
It was
Okay.
very pressing on my mind.
Very pressing, okay. So how long are you outside of the house?
Usually my walks are about half an hour to an hour.
So is it fair to say that's how long you were out today?
Yes.
Okay. And from the time you get up to the time you leave the house, do you have conversation with anybody?
You mean just yesterday on April 23rd?
Yeah.
No.
No, okay. And when you're outside, do you speak to anybody?
No.
Are you chatting with anyone on your phone during this time at all or anything
No.
like that? No? You're not messaging on 4chan or anything like that?
I did post a Facebook message right before the attack,
Okay.
stating that the incel rebellion has already begun.
Okay, and okay, all right.
Posted it with my phone.
Okay, so let's just work up to that. So now you've gone for a walk. It's pressing on your mind, this attack. You come back home about 45 minutes to an hour later. So what time is that?
I would say that would be approximately 9.
9 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay. And then what do you do?
Then I just I sit back. I sit on my computer, just play some random browser games until it's time to leave.
Okay, and so what computer are you on?
Mac.
Mac. And what browser games are you playing? What do you mean by that?
Just random games on the internet. I was actually playing City Jumper. It's a very old game.
Okay.
It's I just wanted to pass the time until I left.
Okay. And so while you're playing this game, do you have a particular time in your mind that you're going to do this?
Well, the truck rental was or van rental was at 1 p.m.
Okay.
So, and I already had a Google Maps route planned. I left the house at 11:25. I took the bus to the rider location.
Okay, so you're at home. I just want to make sure I'm clear as to what was going on. So you're at home, you're playing some online video games.
Yes.
You knew that the truck rental was at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
So you leave the house at 12:25?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you leave the house?
No, sorry, 11:25.
Oh, sorry, 11:25. 11:25, how do you leave the house?
On foot, I walk to the bus stop.
Okay.
I take the bus stop. I take the bus very close to the rider location.
Okay.
And then I walk from where I got off the stop to that rental location, and then from there I picked up the van.
Okay, so when what bus stop did you catch the bus at?
I went on 85C westbound at my house, and then I transferred to another bus, which unfortunately I don't remember the number because I've only used that. That other route is not one of the main routes, so I don't remember the number.
Okay, so but where's the bus stop that you would have attended in order to board the bus?
The first bus was Bayview and 16th.
Did you walk to Bayview and 16th?
Yes, because it's only about 5 minutes from my house.
Okay, and so there's a bus stop there at Bayview and 16th?
Yes.
And I'm assuming we're talking about a York Regional Transit bus?
Yes.
And what was the name of the bus? The number of the bus?
85C.
85C. And which direction is that bus going?
West.
It's going west. On 16th? No. Yes, 16th?
Yes.
Okay, it's going west on 16th. So you catch that bus?
Yes.
And how do you pay to get on the bus?
Bus ticket.
A bus ticket, okay. And what time do you get on the bus?
At about 11:30.
About 11:30. So about 5 minutes from your house.
Mhm.
Okay. And then how long of a bus ride till you get off and get on the next bus?
It was about half an hour until the next bus.
Okay. So where do you get off the first bus? What bus stop do you get off of?
Highway 7 and Weston.
Highway 7 and Weston. Okay. And you board a second bus?
Yes.
And where did you board that second bus?
At that same stop.
Same stop, and you don't know the number of that bus?
I don't remember, unfortunately.
Okay, but it's a York Regional Transit bus?
Yes.
Okay. And so what direction do you head when you get on the second bus?
It went north, and then it went east again, and then it dropped me off about a 5-minute walk from the truck rental location.
Okay, so what street would that have been at?
I don't remember, unfortunately, because it was one of those small neighborhood roads, but it was very close to Credit Stone Road.
It was very close to Credit Stone Road.
Yes.
Credit Stone Road, what would be the major intersection?
I believe the bordering street was Pennsylvania Avenue. It was actually a neighborhood road. It wasn't a major intersection.
Okay, so Credit Stone and Pennsylvania?
Yes.
It was in or around that location?
Yes.
And from there you walk to the Ryder truck rental?
Yes.
Okay, and do you have your cell phone on you at this time?
It was confiscated. Oh, at that time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and the same cell phone that you just told me, the Acer cell phone?
Asus Zenfone 4.
Right, that phone.
Yes.
Okay. Do you receive or make any phone calls during that time?
No.
Okay. What about, okay, we'll ask you that later. So you walk to the rental store or the truck rental store. What time do you arrive at the truck rental store?
At about 12:30.
Okay, 12:30. All right. And so you walk in, and what do?
I say, hi, my name is Alek Minassian. I'm here. I know I'm early, but I have a truck rental at 1. So then I end up filling out some forms, signing some stuff. I wait a bit, and then eventually I'm given the van.
Okay. And the individual you speak to, what do they look like?
He was wearing a bright vest.
Bright vest? Okay. What color of skin did he have?
White.
White skin. Did you catch a name?
No.
No? How old would he have been?
He was probably in his 30s.
Probably in his 30s. And what color was his hair?
I think it was dark brown.
Dark brown. How tall was he?
He was about 5'9".
Oh, 5'9". How much did he weigh?
I would estimate to be about 152.
150?
152.
152. 152 pounds?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very precise like that.
Okay, that's good. Okay, and so in terms of his build, how would you describe his build?
It was kind of lean but slightly muscular at the same time.
Oh, okay, all right. What about facial hair?
He was clean shaven.
Clean shaven. Okay. Any other distinguishing characteristics about him that would center him out from anyone else?
None in particular.
Okay. So sorry, what do you say? You're there early, but you want to know if this truck is available?
Yes.
Okay. And in terms of the trucks, did you have? Were you given a choice of trucks?
I was given a choice when I was making the phone call earlier this month.
Right.
So I chose the 10-foot one.
Okay.
And although it's actually a van, but it's sometimes being referred to as a truck during the rental.
Right. I'm assuming there were various sizes of trucks, vans available?
Yes.
Okay. Was the van the largest?
No, it was actually quite small compared to the actual trucks.
Okay. So why did you choose the van?
Because it was larger than a car, therefore large enough to be effective, but not so large that it made maneuverability hard.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. And when did you come to that realization?
I was thinking about it before before I made the phone call. I was thinking I need something powerful enough to be effective, but like I said before, and small enough that it's maneuverable.
Okay, so you were thinking about that before. Was this when specifically did this thought process come into your mind?
About 2 days before I made the phone call.
Okay. So is it fair to say you reserved a larger truck, but then when you went into Ryder, after thinking about the logistics of your mission, you changed?
The van that I used was what I rented.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Okay, so you're at the counter, you rent the van. What does the individual, the salesperson say to you?
Well, he just asks me if I have my driver's license. He asks me for a credit card.
Right.
I use it. The card gets approved, and then he says, "Okay, wait here. I'm gonna get the van for you." And then about 10 minutes later, he has it for me.
Okay, so you produced your Ontario driver's license?
Yes.
Okay, and what type of credit card do you produce?
Visa.
And what banking institution does it?
TD.
So it's a TD Visa. Is it a particular brand of TD Visa? Does it have a particular?
No, it's just simply a TD Visa.
Just a simple TD Visa. Okay, and I'm going to ask, do you know the number of your Visa card?
I don't remember it.
You don't remember? Okay. But it's in your name?
Yes.
Okay, so the fellow behind the counter takes your identification and the Visa card. Presumably he charges you for the rental?
Yes.
Okay, and how much was the rental?
I don't remember, to be honest. I remember I had to pay a $400 deposit.
Okay.
To be honest, I wasn't really paying attention to the cost because I knew I would be able to cover it anyways.
Okay, all right. Did you sign any documents?
I signed on a tablet.
Okay, all right. Were you given any type of receipt?
Yes, in fact, I put it inside a folder, which was in the van, which I'm assuming has probably been confiscated, as the van was probably searched.
Right. And so, where was the receipt in the van?
Inside some folder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
it was next to the steering wheel near the coffee cup holders.
Okay, all right.
Same place where my phone and wallet were.
Okay, all right. So you've now paid for the van. You've signed for it. You've been given a paper receipt. And then what happens?
Then as I said before, he tells me to wait as he's getting the van, and so I wait about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then he brings the van, and then I go into it, and then I take it downtown to Toronto, and I start using it.
Okay, so when you're presumably the van gets pulled up in front of the entrance, is that?
Yeah, he pulled it up next to the building, and he made it ready to be able to easily exit out.
Okay, and so do you do an inspection of the van to make sure that there's no damage you're going to?
No, I didn't bother because the van didn't appear to be damaged or anything like that.
Okay, so he gives you the keys?
Yes.
Okay, and what do you do at that point?
I drive off.
Okay, and what route do you take?
I drove down Cornerstone, Credit Stone, until I reached I believe, Highway 7.
Okay.
Then I went east on Highway 7, and then I took the ramp to Yonge, and then I went south on Yonge until I reached the attack location near Finch.
Okay. So what direction are you traveling on Creditstone?
South.
South, and then you go west on...
No, east.
Sorry, east
on Highway 7.
On Highway 7?
And then I take that ramp to Yonge.
Okay.
And then on Yonge I continue south.
Okay. So when do you leave Ryder?
I wasn't looking at the time when I left, but I know I received the van before 1 p.m., although it was, the booking was actually scheduled for 1.
Okay, all right. And how long does it take you to get from Ryder to Yonge Street?
I went to Yonge? To the beginning of Yonge?
To the beginning of the attack.
Oh, to the near Yonge and Finch.
Yeah.
I would estimate about 20 to 30 minutes.
20 to 30 minutes. Now, what are you thinking while you're in the van?
I'm thinking that this is it. This is the day of retribution.
Okay. And anything else in your mind?
Just that. That's
Okay.
that's the only thing that's in my mind. It's just burning in my mind.
Burning in your mind.
Yeah.
Okay. And so let me ask you this, because this is really interesting. Why do you choose Yonge and Finch?
I didn't choose Yonge and Finch in particular. I was driving down Yonge because I knew it would be a busy area,
Mm-hmm.
and then as soon as I saw there were pedestrians,
Mhm.
I just decided to go for it.
Okay. And so, where specifically were you, in terms of your specific location? Where were you when you just decided to go for it?
I was at some traffic lights.
Okay, where?
Well, actually, I don't remember. The only reason, in fact, if I hadn't, I remember some other. I had heard some other officer mention Yonge and Finch before. That's the only reason I really remember it.
Okay.
But otherwise, I actually wouldn't have remembered
You would
that
never
it's
remember.
yeah,
Okay.
Yonge and Finch. I just knew that I started seeing a lot of people walking.
Okay. Am I correct when I say that you knew at least you were on Yonge Street?
Yes.
And you knew that you were...
Because I specifically chose it beforehand. Because that's why. Because I even looked for that ramp from Highway 7 to Yonge.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, nevertheless, you're at a stoplight. You said.
Yes.
And now are you faced with a red light? You're stopped.
Yes, but as soon as it turned green, I started going.
Okay. And just walk me through this. Okay, step by step. So it turns green, and what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that this is it. I see all these people. It's time to go for it.
Time to go for it. And what do?
I floor the pedal.
Yeah.
I speed the van towards them, and I allow the van to collide with them.
Okay. And then what happens?
Some people get knocked out of the way. Some people roll over the top of the van.
Okay. And then what happens?
I continue doing that until, in fact, actually, to be honest, the only reason I stopped my attack was because someone's drink got splashed on my windshield, and I was worried that I would crash the van anyway, so I decided, okay, now I wanted to do more, but I've kind of been foiled by a lack of visibility. So then that's when I turned right, and I saw the cops approaching, so I decided to pull over and get out of my van.
Okay. How long do you travel from the moment that you decide this is it, the light turns green, and you mount the sidewalk, is that right?
Yes.
To the time that you stop? How long in terms of a distance would that have been?
About 2 or 3 traffic lights.
2 or 3 traffic lights. Okay. So you turn right at what street?
I don't remember which street. I wasn't paying attention.
Why do you turn right?
Because there wasn't any convenient place to stop at Yonge, and like I said, that there was a lack of visibility on my windshield. I could hear the cops coming anyway, so when I turned right, there was a convenient place to pull over on the sidewalk.
Okay. Okay, and so you're now, so you physically stop your vehicle.
Yes.
You physically stop. So you end the assault.
Yes.
Okay. And you end it because you can't see,
Yes.
and you knew the cops were coming.
Yes.
Okay, and so then what happens at that point?
I see a patrol car pull over, and I hear the cop screaming at me to get out. So I get out, and I point my wallet at the cop with the intent for it to be confused with a gun, so that I could be fatally shot.
Okay. And was that something you were thinking about?
Yes.
I know. I mean, what I'm saying is,
Even beforehand, I premeditated as an attempted suicide by cop.
you wanted to be killed by the police.
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask why you decided to equip yourself with a wallet and not something else?
I was worried. I was thinking about purchasing a toy gun,
Right.
but I was kind of paranoid that for whatever reason, the rental company would ask to see my pockets or any bag if I chose to bring that. So I decided to go as stealthy as possible so no one suspects anything.
Okay, all right. Nevertheless, you get out of the van, the officer correct me if I'm wrong, because I want to make sure I get this right. You get out of the van because the officer orders you out?
Yes.
Okay. And you want to die by suicide by police, so you point your wallet at him?
Yes.
Okay, and do you say anything to the officer?
I actually told him that I had a gun in my pocket, which was untrue.
Right.
Then twice I stuck my left hand in my pocket and attempted to do this just to provoke a reaction.
Okay.
Unfortunately he didn't react.
Right.
So then I ended up being ordered to the ground. So I knew at that point he's not going to shoot me. So I've lost. So I had no choice but to just get on the ground.
Okay, so just walk me through this step by step, because I'm a little confused. So you get out of the van, you turn right, you can't see, you hear the police, you know they're coming, you see the police officer approach, you stop your vehicle, you realize this is the end. He orders you out, you get out of the van.
Yes.
Now your plan was to die by suicide by cop. So you said you reached into your pocket twice.
Well, originally I the entire time I was holding my wallet with my right hand, but then when I saw that wasn't working, I reached into my pocket with my left hand and quickly pulled it out and formed my hand into the shape of a gun like this.
Okay.
With the hope that he would panic and shoot me. That, of course, didn't happen.
Okay. And how many times did you do that?
Twice.
With your left hand? And all the while you had your
wallet
with the other hand?
Right hand.
Okay. And so, realizing that the officer wasn't going to shoot you, what did you do at that point?
I realized I had no choice but to get on the ground, because I was probably going to be tackled anyways or tased, and if I'm going to live, I'd rather not encounter a physically painful experience. So I decided I have no choice but to admit defeat at that point.
Right. Okay. And so when you say admit defeat, what did you do?
I got on the ground.
Okay. And in terms of how did you get on the ground?
Well, I turned around, I got on my knees, and then I got on flat on the ground.
Face down?
Yes.
Okay. And then what happened?
Then he put his knee in me, on my back,
okay.
And then he handcuffed me.
Okay.
And another officers arrived and pinned me down as well.
Okay. All right. And then from there, you were placed in the car, and we already talked about that.
Yes.
Okay. That's quite an experience. That is quite a...
Not the usual everyday experience.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Did I miss anything?
I believe that's everything.
Alek, I thank you for talking to me. I really do. I really appreciate that. You've given me some insight. And
I appreciate it too.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good.
Okay. We've been here a while. Do you need to borrow the washroom?
Well, yes, but if there's anything urgent, I'm able to wait.
Okay. Can I ask you to sit tight for 2 seconds?
Okay.
I want to get another bottle of water for me because I'm really thirsty. What I'll do is I'm going to step out, and then I'll come back. And if there's any other questions I have, I will I will speak to you about that, okay?
Okay.
I'm just going to sign this here with my name. And it's the 24th now, isn't it? Okay. Okay, sit tight, I'll be right back.
Sure.
Let me take you out. Just use the washroom and then we'll be back.
Should I leave this here, or am I allowed to take it with me?
No, you'll leave it here because
Okay.
we're going to come back.
Okay.
I just got to put the arm on here.
Yeah, I understand.
There we go. Give me a couple of seconds and then put a seat there. Right back. Do you want anything to eat?
I'm good. Thanks for the
Sure.
offer.
Okay. I'll be right back. Okay, tell me what happened from the time we left to the time we came back.
You mean just now?
Yeah.
I went to the washroom.
Mhm.
I urinated in the toilet bowl.
Mhm.
I washed my hands thoroughly at the sink. Then I took some paper towel. I used that to close the tap.
Mhm.
Threw that paper towel in the garbage, and I took two more pieces of paper towel and used that to open a knob. While holding the door with my foot, I put the paper towel in the garbage.
And then we walked back.
Yes.
Did
I
we
wanted
have-
to ensure that there would be no germs on my head.
Perfect. Did we have any conversation while we were outside?
No.
No. I think I pointed out where the bathroom was. I
Yes.
said it's here on the right. and then you went in, and did you speak to anybody else?
No.
Anybody speak to you?
No.
Okay. I was thinking, you mentioned you went to Quebec.
Yes.
Why did you go to Quebec?
I went to Montreal.
Oh, the mountain. No. Okay.
Yeah, for summer hiking.
Oh, okay. All right. When did you go specific?
I've gone a few times in the past.
Okay. And why Mount Tremblant?
Because I'd heard it's a good place for hiking in the summer.
Is that something you like to do as a hobby?
Yes.
Do you like to hike? Yeah. Okay. Who did you go with?
I don't wish to specify.
Okay. How long were you there?
Just for a weekend.
Okay. All right. You were in Buffalo, I understand.
I don't recall ever being in Buffalo.
You never recall going to Buffalo?
No.
My understanding is you traveled to Buffalo, and you traveled to another U.S. state?
I have been to Chicago and Boston, San Francisco, and L.A.
Okay, all right. Okay, when did you go down there?
San Francisco and LA were Christmas of 2003 and 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago was winter of, Christmas time of 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Boston was May of 2012.
Okay. What was the reason to go? What was the reason for going to the U.S.?
Just vacation.
Okay. Did you go with the family?
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask what religion you are?
I'm not of any particular religion.
You don't follow any denomination?
I'm atheist.
You're atheist? Oh,
Yes.
I see, okay. Can I ask what religion you were raised?
I wasn't raised with any religion.
Oh, okay. Fair to say your parents aren't religious?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you don't have any religious ideology or...
No.
Particular religious faith or following of any kind?
Correct.
Okay. Did you go to your prom?
No, I didn't.
You didn't go to your high school prom?
No.
Okay. Have you ever had a girlfriend?
No.
Okay. Can I ask you something? It's personal, but given what you've told me, I believe it's relevant. Have you ever had an intimate relationship with a woman?
Unfortunately, I haven't.
Okay. Is that something you would want to do?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me why it is that you haven't had an intimate relationship with a woman?
I feel it's because I'm too nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Have you made attempts, or I should say, have you made attempts to have an intimate relationship with a woman?
Yes, I did ask a girl out once, but she rejected me.
Oh, okay. And where was that?
That was in 2012.
2012. So it was before the October Halloween of 2013?
Yes.
Okay. And did that leave you with, how did that leave you?
I felt crushed at that point.
Okay. I'm talking about the 2012 incident with the girl.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Alek, remember when we talked about telling the truth?
Yes.
And I asked you that, if you were going to tell me your side of the story, which you did, and I appreciate that. Has everything you told me been the truth?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm going to be honest with you. There's one aspect of your story that doesn't corroborate with the information we have. Okay, there's one piece to your story that is inconsistent with what we know. Would you care to guess what piece that is?
I can't think of the inconsistency.
How you specifically got to the Ryder truck rental. If I was to suggest to you that we received information that somebody dropped you off there, would I be right?
I don't wish to answer that.
Okay. The reason why I say that is because it's, what you've told me, I believe you. Okay? But, I asked you to tell me I asked you at the beginning to tell me the truth. That if you were going to talk to me, all I wanted was to be from the heart, which it was, and to be the truth. Which I believe the majority of. Okay? So what I'd like to do is at this particular juncture, if there's a portion, I'm not asking you to reveal anybody or names, okay? But if there's a portion of your statement that is not true, okay, I'd like to know. Because it's important. It's about the truth. You're very forthright and upfront about what's happened. But it's important that we get the truth. Okay? I'm not asking for names, all right? But in terms of how you got to the Ryder dealership, were you telling me the truth or not?
Yes, I was telling the truth.
You were telling me the truth as to how you got there?
Yes.
You're not lying?
No.
So in other words, the truth is you caught the bus?
Yes.
The truth is that you did not get dropped off by somebody?
Correct.
Why is it that we would receive information?
Sorry?
I
can't think of a reason why.
I'm going to be straight up with you. Your dad has told us that he dropped you off at a Starbucks coffee shop earlier today, or earlier yesterday.
Yes, that is what happened.
Okay. So why wouldn't you tell me that?
Because I was worried that you would think he was an accomplice.
Okay.
I don't. He was not aware of this.
Okay. And I believe you. I believe you when you say that. Okay. I want you to know your dad's not in trouble. Okay. And we're not looking at your dad as being an accomplice. Okay. You have my word on that. Okay. But what's important, Alex, is that I get the truth. Okay. We don't believe that your dad is an accomplice. Okay. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. Your family is not in any kind of trouble. Okay. But I need the truth. Okay. So let's go back. You said you got up in the morning.
Yes.
Okay. What time did you get up in the morning?
I believe it was at about 7.
Okay. Now, you told me what happened.
Yes.
Was all of that the truth in terms of getting up, having breakfast, brushing?
Yes.
And then leaving the house around 8 to go for a walk?
Yes.
And you were out for about an hour to 45 minutes to an hour?
Yes.
Is that the truth?
Yes.
Okay. And then you come back?
Yes.
And then you were playing on video games? Is that the truth?
Yes.
All right. So from that point, what happens?
I am given a ride to the Starbucks location near Highway 7 and Weston.
Okay.
And then from that point, I walk to the Ryder rental location, and from there I pick up my van.
Okay, so we're not, if we go back to the York Regional Transit System, we're not going to see you boarding the bus.
Correct.
Okay, so that was a lie.
Correct.
Okay, so what did you tell your dad? What did you tell your dad?
I told him I was meeting up with a friend.
And what's your friend's name?
Brandon Levine.
Okay. And what was the purpose for this meeting? What did you tell your dad the purpose of this meeting to be?
Just to be able to catch up on old times, talk with each other, and chat.
Okay, that's what we know. That's what we know. All right. Well, thank you for telling me that. I want to ask you this. Okay, we're not looking at anybody else as being involved in this. Okay. So in light of all of that, is there anything else that you've told me that isn't true?
No.
Everything else is the truth?
Yes.
You're being upfront and honest with me.
Yes.
Okay. While you were planning the attack, starting approximately a month ago, when you were in the planning and deliberation stage, right through to getting arrested. Who did you talk to about this attack?
4chan.
4chan, okay. So what do you mean by that?
Meaning, I posted 2 days before the attack that I hinted that there would be another beta uprising, and then when there were replies, some of the people, based on the replies, I could tell that they kind of knew what was going to happen.
Okay. Did you have any conversation with anybody else?
Not in real life.
What does that mean?
I mean, not in person.
Okay. How did you, over what medium did you communicate?
Just 4chan.
So what do you mean by not in real life or not in person? Who were you speaking to?
Well, real life means you're not using the computer.
Right.
So I did not inform anyone in person of these plans.
Okay. Outside of 4chan and leaving threads or messages on threads, who else did you talk to using social media or I'm speaking specifically to individuals. Who specifically did you tell?
No one.
No one. You mentioned you were playing
City Jumper.
No, City Jumper. But before that, you were playing Call of Duty, and you've played Halo, and you've played
GTA.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. How did you play these games? I mean, I know you played them
with an Xbox 360.
With an Xbox 360. And where's that Xbox 360?
I actually no longer have one. I used to have one.
Okay. When did you get rid of it?
Well, a few months ago the disc tray got jammed,
Okay.
so that's why we had to get rid of it.
Okay, so how did you get rid of it?
We just threw it out.
Threw it in the garbage?
Yes.
Okay. So did you ever use the online
Xbox Live?
Xbox Live?
Yes.
Okay. And what was your username on Xbox?
My gamer tag was Xbox Light Side.
Xbox Light Side?
Yes.
All one word?
Yes.
Any capitals?
The first letter.
First letter. And in your conversations with other people online while playing Xbox, or while using Xbox, who did you discuss or talk to about conducting this mission?
I didn't discuss it with anyone over Xbox Live.
Okay. Who did you discuss specifically with about this mission, using any other type of communication?
Other than 4chan?
Yeah.
No one.
No one. So it's fair to say no one knew that you were planning to do this attack?
Correct.
Okay. I want to talk to you, and this is very important, I want to talk to you about this Edmonton attack that's going to take place later this year. You said it was in what month?
November 15,
November
2018.
2018. What more information can you tell me about this impending attack?
The only information I have is that someone hinted in the as a reply. He simply said that this has. Yeah, I think I know what you mean, bro. This has kind of inspired me. I am planning something similar, November 15 this year.
Okay. How do you know it was going to be?
A reply. It was a public post.
It was a public post. How do you know it was going to take place in Edmonton?
Because he said Edmonton.
Because he said Edmonton.
In the post.
So if I was to go on to 4chan, would I be able to see this post?
Due to the high volume, the high frequency of posts on 4chans, all the threads get pushed out very quickly. However, it is possible that they get archived on some other website.
Okay, and what thread was this under?
It doesn't have a name because I left that field blank.
Okay, so but what subfolder is it in? Is it like,
There's no subfolders, unfortunately.
So, I thought you said that there was right, radical, or
Oh, it fell under the category of alt-right.
alt-right. Oh, it's in the alt-right category.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where, if it was to be found, that's where it would be.
Yes.
Okay. What other impending attacks do you know of?
That's the only one I know of.
That's the only one?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had any other discussion with this fellow who's planning this attack in Edmonton?
No.
No? Who is he?
I don't know. It said anonymous. That's the whole point of 4chan.
Right, okay. All right. Is there anything else that you can tell me that might help me better understand what's happened here today?
There isn't anything else I can offer, to be honest.
Okay. Can I ask you to sit tight for a couple seconds?
Sure.
Thanks, mate. I really appreciate you talking. I'm going to be straight up with you. I find you fascinating. I really do. I've never met somebody like you before. And this has been quite an experience for me, as much as I think it has been for you. Can I ask you something? How were you treated here today?
Very well, actually.
Very well, okay. And I'm talking about overall, with, from the moment you were arrested right up to now.
Yeah, I was treated well.
Treated well, okay. In terms of the way I treated you here today.
I feel you treated me well as well.
Well as well, okay. What's going to happen here today? I don't know if you're familiar with the process. So we're unfortunately we're going to have to hold you, okay? Because we can't release people for certain charges, and the ones that you're facing, we can't release you. Which means that you're going to go to court tomorrow or today. You'll be in front of the judge, okay? There will be a lawyer there who will advocate or will defend you on your behalf. There will be a Crown attorney who will, who's the prosecutor, who will advocate for the Crown or for the Crown, and they will argue in terms of your bail, your release. Okay. Following that, court dates will be set in the future. You will eventually get a lawyer, make application to apply for a lawyer. They will receive, your lawyer will receive disclosure from us. They'll get a copy of this video. And then with meetings with the lawyer, you can discuss what it is you want to do, okay? I'm going to ask you this, because it's important. 10 people died here today. 15 people were seriously injured. I think it's important to ask how you feel about that.
I feel like I accomplished my mission.
You feel like you accomplished your mission?
Yes.
Okay. If the families of those people who were murdered and who were injured were in this room right now, what would you say to them?
I honestly don't know what I would say.
Would you apologize?
I honestly don't know.
No. Can we shake your hand?
Sure.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Is there any questions you have of me?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. If I need to speak to you again, would you be up to that?
Yes.
Okay. I got to just make sure there's a room available. What I'm going to do is, if you don't mind, can I get you to hang out here?
Sure.
I'm going to get an officer to come in here, and he's going to take you back downstairs.
Uh-huh.
You'll be alone in the room. If you need something to eat, you just let him know. He'll get you something to eat. Use the washroom. You need to lie down, have a sleep, do whatever you want.
Uh-huh.
You can do that, all right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so just hang tight. I'll make sure an officer comes in here.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
I'm going to take you back downstairs, okay?
Uh-huh.
So just like we did before, I got to hold on to your arm, okay, while we walk?
Uh-huh.
Turn it left.
Okay, the Date on my clock is Tuesday, April 24th, 2018. Time on my clock is 3:04, and we'll be concluding this interview.